Hello, welcome to the Arn and Eddie experience with no Eddie.
Eddie's slightly hairier cousin, Rogie Sideburns.
Welcome, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm not bad on yourself.
I'm just going to go and find, because Eddie has sent me a little message to play, so I'm going to play it.
Oh, is he cutting in via satellite? Dun, 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 dun. I'm assuming he has shown up. He's not just patching the whole affair.
Could you actually hear that, or was that not going through the?
I didn't hear it. I was smiling
okay.
politely.
So maybe that was 30 seconds of nothing. Hopefully you could hear that. That was that was Eddie saying like he called Athers the C word. So
oh, lovely.
Look forward to seeing him in a bit. Let's take a look at the lineups, because I've got my tactics board out already.
Oh, the big tactics board of doom.
Tactics board of doom. The notable changes for England. They've been Trippier off, and they've gone with a more conventional left back in Shaw.
Yeah. It's confusing to see England lining up with a left back at left back. I thought the revolutionary tactic of playing right back at left back would be continuing.
Fair, says Athers. Yeah. Sorry you couldn't hear that. It's a shame. And yeah, they've actually got a new right back as well, because Reece James is playing at right back. I don't know where Walker is, but he's not even on the bench. So we're I don't know. I don't know what's happened there. I assume he's injured. There was a rumour that Grealish might play as well, but he's not there. And also we've got Scotland lined up on the other side there. Before you take us through it, I'm just going to welcome in the other guest that we've got from the start here. Oh. Brian. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. I've nailed my colours to the mast.
Yes, Brian. Queen's Park boys.
It's me against the world, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. It's the biggest game in Scottish, Welsh, Irish, Northern Irish football history, because we're going to scud the English.
I'm going to get Athers in. I'll get Athers in a minute, and we'll level things up a bit. But before that, Alan, do you want to talk us through what Scotland are doing here? Because I was asking you just before we went on what was happening with McTominay and whether he's going to play in defence or midfield or what.
So McTominay's back where he belongs, in my opinion. He's a very good centre back. It's the same kind of shape we lined up against the Czech Republic, but with better players in it, with the exception of Stephen O'Donnell, who I'd quite happily seen never play a football game again. McTominay just offers us, I think he's a bit more defensively solid than Jack Hendry, who seems to have an inclination to just shoot the ball wherever he is, which is how we ended up conceding the goal with the tournament, because Jack Hendry twatted it straight to Patrick Schick's shins. McGregor's an odd choice. I don't know if I'd have played him myself, but it's good to see Billy Gilmore getting a start, in the sense that McGilmore and Turnbull are the two best young midfielders that we've got in the squad that were called up. The argument still being that we should have called up Ryan Gauld because of how he's been doing out in Portugal, as opposed to, well, I guess John Fleck would have been the one to get dropped. Then I'll continue this running thing of John Fleck should never play for Scotland because he's a bit shit. Language.
I'll try and hide him somewhere. Do you want to put him over here?
Just give him to the English. He's about as useful there as he is for Scotland anyway. The two up top is going to be interesting, because Dykes really struggled against the Czech Republic to try and get anything. And when he had a few chances where he was on the ball, he just predictably was terrible. I remember one where he shot, like, he was kind of one-on-one with the keeper, and the keeper was down low, so he just shot it straight at the keeper. There was no attempt to try and get it, just even a little bit above the keeper. But with the way it's lined up, the thing that it reminds me of is when Steve Clarke was Kilmarnock manager, we would always do this where we'd kind of struggle against teams round about our level, which the Czech Republic, for all that they've got some of the best players in the world, they're Scotland's level. But then he would take us to play Rangers, or he'd take us to play Celtic, and the game would be upped considerably. So I'm hoping he's got that similar effect with the Scotland team, which is why I'm kind of hoping that we can get a result, but not expecting it, because it's Scotland and we're just happy to be here. I'm hoping that if Luke Shaw's there, we can, I don't know, just get Grant Hanley to kick him repeatedly and just injure him or something. Just take out the left back. That's all I want.
We've got another one.
Well, you only play one per game. Trippier will go back there. It's fine.
Trippier will play there for a bit. Brian, what do you make of the lineups?
It looks a stronger Scottish team, I have to say. Now, I'm wary of the back three, just because as I know Alan was saying that McTominay could start there, but I'm not sure he's a centre back, or at least not yet. And I think Tierney is another one. Now, against England, I think that actually is fine for Tierney because Harry Kane is in no form at all. So you need that bit extra pace to track the midfield runners, really, more than anything. I do think the two up top could cause the English back two problems big time. Now, we'd have to see if Dykes performs in any way, but I thought Adams was brilliant when he came on the other day. I obviously watched a fair bit of Che Adams when he was at Birmingham, and I think he's really good, especially as part of it too. And Lyndon Dykes is in the Lucas Jutkovic mold, I suppose.
Some criticism in the chat there for Grant Hanley. No movement, shapeless, lets people ghost off him.
Yeah,
just a Fred Flintstone fuckwit.
But you need somebody like that. So you've got McTominay and Tierney who can do the fancy stuff, and hopefully Grant Hanley just stands as like a brick wall for players to run into. He'll just like materialise in front of like Harry Kane or something. But Grant Hanley's, I've been surprised that he get called back up, given that he hadn't really featured in the Scotland team since like 2018, I want to say. And then all of a sudden he's like back as one of their main centre backs. It's a little bit confusing, and no one's entirely too sure why, other than Steve Clark is doing Steve Clark things.
Was he getting game time for Norwich?
Yeah, it's just a case of
promotion?
like, I think he's a captain at Norwich. I'm not super sure on that one, but I just don't think he's an international quality player. The problem being that Scotland doesn't really have many international quality players. I'd have probably had Cooper in there as what I was about to say, and then the comment popped up.
Yeah, I like Cooper. Yeah. I like him. We've got Athers is here with us as well, so I'm going to bring him in. His screen name is English Scum, so just in case you're wondering who he was supporting. There he is.
Is he by any chance a Scotland fan?
I don't believe he is, no. Are you there, Joe?
I'm there. Hello, gentlemen. How's it all going?
It's going well so far. Are you happy with the English lineup?
Good stuff.
Yeah? A left back at left back?
Yeah,
do you think that's a little controversial?
Right. It's pretty revolutionary, to be honest. Southgate's take a bit of a gamble there, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with the team. A little bit disappointed Jack Grealish isn't playing, but I'm sure he'll come on at some point in the second half.
Yeah,
he's on. I hope he sent 7 sides to
he'll come on
with a tackle.
He'll come on. He'll get snapped by his best pal John McGinn, and then he's out for the rest of the tournament. Scotland win anyway.
But he's carrying an injury anyway, Grealish. So I think that's probably why he's not starting. I think the rumor this morning is that Grealish was going to play, and something has obviously changed between this morning and now. Maybe he had a late fitness test, and they thought he wasn't quite up to it. But yeah, he's on the bench, so I expect we'll see him at some point.
Aye, when England are 9-0 down and chasing that first vital goal, we'll get Jack Grealish in. You can have a nice 5-minute cameo before McGinn snaps him.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how they've lined up. I had tactics brought back on there. So, what is the key battle here? Because Scotland have got 3 in midfield. You could say like England have also got a 3. With if Mount drops deeper, who do you think wins that battle in midfield there, Alan?
My gut says England, my heart says Scotland. It's kind of, I think it just depends. I think with Gilmore coming in, we're a little less physical in midfield, I would say, because McTominay, if he was in midfield, is a bit more physical, but I think Gilmore's a bit more fancy. I say this having watched about maybe 30 minutes of a Chelsea game all season, because just get rid of Chelsea personally. But I think it's a case of going kind of back to what I know from Steve Clark. The Scotland team's going to likely sit back and take in hopefully a lot of pressure and kind of look to just hit England on the counter. I remember the one that sticks out in my head is there was a game where Rangers had taken the lead and then we just capitalised off of like 2 mistakes. and we were rushing up the park to just score. So a Steve Clark side can be good at hitting on the break, and I think that's what the Scotland team's got. It's got quite a lot of players that can kind of get in and hit on the pace and kind of on the break. We just need to make sure that England don't run on top us. Kane kind of worries me because it's Harry Kane, and even though he's not in form, he's probably still better than the entire Scotland team put together.
You said there about playing on the break. Do we think that's how they're going to line up?
I think it is. And that's just kind of going from the knowledge that I've got how Steve Clark sets a team up to play more so than the players that are on the pitch. I think his ideal tactics kind of quite interchange. We don't particularly need like a certain player. It's just a certain kind of role that you just hope somebody can cover. And it's maybe why the likes of Callum McGregor's in the side over somebody that's maybe a bit more talented or a bit kind of better suited. Because McGregor's he's quite industrious. He's not particularly great, but he's also not terrible. So
it's the mark of a Scottish international. Not terrible.
I think they'll keep Dykes and Adams fairly pushed up, but everyone else is going to drop back, and then they're going to try and catch them 2v2, 2v3.
Yeah,
and I think that could actually give. Like, I don't rate Tyrone Mings at all, so I think that could give them some problem.
Is that a little bit of bias at all?
No, I think he's the typical centre back that gets a bit overrated until he gets found out at his level because he can't play any football. He's just big, strong, and physical and quick, and it gets him away with a lot.
Yeah, I'd love it if we had somebody like that. I mean, we've got somebody like that. We've got Grant Hanley, so there's your big matchup: Grant Hanley versus Tyrone Mings, and who can be the most immobile defender possible.
Well, I think Mings is very mobile. I think he has all those skills. I just think he's liable for a mistake, can't pass the ball, and I don't think he has much between the ears when it comes to positioning and that. But he gets away with it by being so quick and so physical. It's a bit like Kyle Walker, right back, who I think is very overrated, but is so quick and so athletic that it manages to hide a lot of his flaws. Well, I think Reece James is the best right back in the half.
Reece James era.
So, Joe, are you worried about anyone in the Scotland lineup?
Contrary to the arrogant English opinion, Scotland do have some good players. I know that he was kind of at fault for a hell of a goal against the Czechs, but I think David Marshall's a good keeper. Robertson's a good player. Gilmore, young talented player. They've got some good players. I don't think it's going to be the walkover a lot of England fans are probably predicting.
Oh, we've lost Joe. I think he's in his garden, so he's having some connection problems there. I can hear birds chirping away in the background, though, so it made for a nice little...
this kind of what he was saying about Marshall, though, and he's got a point in that I think Marshall would have saved that goal if he hadn't pitched a tent at the centre circle. If he'd actually stayed back, people have tried arguing it since it happened, but there's no real logic as to why David Marshall was that far up the pitch, even if there was no intent really for the Czechs to score.
Steve Clark had set him as sweeper keeper on attack, and that's what went wrong.
I mean, I've played sweeper keepers and attacker, and they've never been that far up the pitch. So he's clearly got some sort of modded football manager on the go.
Aaron, I'm just wondering when you're going to pull up the tactics board for Wexford Youths versus Shelburne.
I'm only allowed one at a time, so I can't pull that one up. If you want to do one, I'll do one and send it over. I'll stick it on screen.
They haven't actually announced the teams. I'm sure it's somewhere, but
it's difficult to make the picks.
I do have a countdown to kick off on my screen, so that's great.
I've managed to revolutionise this tactics board when I found out that if I right-clicked on it, I could change the name. Which has been an absolute game changer for me, because the first couple of days we were doing this, I got the tactics board lined up. I got all the players out there on the pitch, and I went to go and talk about it. And I'm like, can't remember who that is, but he passed the ball. I think I might. Can I change the number? Oh yeah, there we go. I got Bellingham 26, and I got there we go.
Have England retired the number 26 yet? You know that's the going thing for Jude Bellingham. Got to retire that number, despite the fact he's about 9 years old.
They're only resting it until his better brother comes through and wears it.
Is that the excuse? The money was just resting in the account.
Yeah. Well, like they said it's retired, but I bet you his brother wears the same number when he gets a game.
Passing down that torch from one 9-year-old to another.
Apparently, his brother's unbelievable. It's like 14 and running the show at under
Is
18.
he on the books at Blues
Birmingham
as well?
as well. Yeah.
He's got in with the family, isn't he?
Can I quickly jump in before my connection goes again? Can I quickly?
Yeah,
jump in?
go for it, Joe. Go for
Right.
it, Joe.
My internet is shocking. Right. All I'm going to say is I think England will narrowly win tonight. It'll be a very close game. 1-0, possibly 2 if we get lucky. I'm only saying that because I think on paper we're a better team. Just like on paper, Italy, France, Belgium, Portugal, probably Holland are better than us. So it's not arrogance. It's just analytically looking at both teams and both lineups. And if you win, feel free to jump on Twitter and laugh at me immensely.
If Scotland win, I'm doing cartwheels up and down the whole country. I'll be cartwheeling my way to Wembley to celebrate.
Well, I'm on the way, so just when you're cartwheeling past my house, just give me a wave. Yeah, Joe's having some internet issues there out in his back garden, but I hope he enjoys the game.
So it's quite a nerve-wracking. Like, we've got 20 minutes to go to the game, and the nerves are just going up and up and up and up. Because I mean, if we lose this, we're out. There's no way that we could maybe salvage a result against Croatia, because it depends which Croatia shows up. But we need to get something today.
Yeah, but if you do beat Croatia, and say you lose today and you need a win in that last game, you beat Croatia, you get 3 points. You still got a shot at getting through because of the 4 out of 6 third place teams going through.
And
looking like you'd need to be above 0 goal difference, though.
I mean, we've already decided.
Oh, maybe you tonk them.
If Sweden get through, we're kicking them out anyway, just because who needs them in a knockout stage for nothing? It's a boring team to exist. So we'll just take Sweden's place. We'll just start putting random itches and then end everybody's name. It's fine. Zlatan Gilmore will bag a hat trick.
Don't they just put Son on the end of all the names? So you just put Son on the end of everyone's name, be fine.
Nobody will know.
McGinson. Oh, Robert Son might be a bit tricky then.
We'll just put an extra S. It'll be like Robert's son.
I didn't see I saw the very end of the Czech Croatia game. I didn't get to see the whole thing. How did they play? How was it?
So they ended the game early. That's the first major talking point. They ended it 17 seconds early. 3 minutes added time.
Is that the only major talking?
Yeah. Well, Croatia scored in like the 47th minute, and then the rest of the game was just kind of mince. Like Perisic's goal was great, cracking goal, but then the rest it was just a bit mince, really.
Yeah, I need to get eyes on that Perisic goal. I'll have a look at that after the game. I assume it's being shown somewhere, but it's in the background. Roy Keane's on at the moment.
Of course he has.
I bet he's thrilled. As an Irishman, do you enjoy Roy Keane's punditry, Brian?
Yeah, like only in clips on Twitter. I watch the Irish coverage, which is Damien Duff and Kevin Doyle.
Really? Is that better? Or?
They're fine. To be honest, Duff is doing a lot of his coaching badges, so he actually knows.
Oh, yes, he understands the game.
Kevin Doyle is fine.
If there's one thing that football punditry has taught me, is that a lot of footballers don't actually understand tactics, which probably speaks volumes about like the way English teams have played over the years, because they just didn't understand what the coach was telling them. It's like Fabio Capello turned up and was like, "Well, we're gonna start with a high press and play the ball out from the back, and I want to play you as an inverted wing back." And like Carl Walker's probably looked at him like, I thought, "Oh, what are you on about?"
Well, that's what happened with us. Steve Clark took the Scotland job after like the best season Kilmarnock could ever have. So we went and got Angelo Alessio, who at the time was Antonio Conte's assistant manager. He was gone within 6 months, and the players were complaining about having to do shape work and training. So I just think it's a case that British football, it's not just a problem with English football. British football is just really arrogant in the sense that it knows how it wants to be, and that's going to be. Nothing's ever really going to change it, and you'll get the rare instances where a manager does come in, like Bielsa at Leeds has completely turned Leeds away from being Brexit FC. But for the large part, a foreign manager comes in, they've got these ideas on how to play football that's worked elsewhere, and English or Scottish is just like, You know what? Nah, we don't want it.
One of my funniest,
Mike
one of the funniest things I've seen with English players reacting to a foreign manager was when Mourinho went to Tottenham and like they got the cameras there for Amazon. So they capture some of the lads having a chat before the first training session. And there's Harry Winks sat at the table with some of the other English blokes going like, oh, I bet it's going to be technical. But it's going to be very technical. Like what they were doing in a Pochettino was what exactly?
I consistently forget that Harry Winks is a football player and not just someone that Spurs fans have made up. Just because
I've seen him play football. He's not very good.
The only time I ever hear about him is when somebody's like telling an anecdote. I don't think I've ever actually watched Harry Winks kick a football. So until I do, you can't convince me that he's real.
I wouldn't recommend watching Tottenham play anyway, unless you want a good laugh.
No, I think I'd rather watch paint. If Gattuso had got the job there, it'd have been funny to watch, but sadly that's not happening anymore. So there's literally no reason to watch Spurs.
There was one, by the way, funny Damien Duff anecdote on the punditry when they were previewing the game after the last Scotland game. And they were saying, like, Scotland will need to get a result against England. And then Duff was the one who resigned from the Ireland Post over the video that was showing, like, the Irish and English history to try and G up the Irish lads for the game against England. So it was like 1916, etc., etc. And Duff resigned over the back. Like, he said, basically, if we're getting in trouble for this, I'm not involved. Like, so he said maybe the Scots will need to play a motivational video before the game. Like, he'd never said anything about it publicly. But that was he just goes, the Scots should play a video before the game. And kind of looked at the camera.
It's I remember that because the whole there's just such a bizarre story to come out, and I'll just keep laughing at it whenever I think about it. Is that you're trying to motivate the team to go out and get a result. It's just some of the things that were rumoured for that island was it's not something I'd have done if I was a manager. I don't think I'd have been going down that route.
The thing about it was an immediate leak by someone on the inside to try and get rid of the manager because he comes from the Irish League and not the traditional FAI choices. He was overpaid lads that are mates with Dennis O'Brien.
I think he was Dunfermline manager as well. So
at one point, we've
had some experience. That Stephen Kenny over here.
I really liked them with the under-21s, and we're kind of turning it around the last few games. We'll see. But
I'm currently trying to find out who. So I'm just trying to find out what the odds are for who the new favourite is for the Tottenham job because it's just such a roller coaster at the moment.
It'll change every hour. Like the thing that amazes me the most is they pretty much had Fonseca in the door, but then it's like a weird Italian tax thing. And I think it's like the figure I heard yesterday was like $2.5 million he could have got, but he didn't. If he wanted to wait to that, Spurs weren't willing to give him it as like a pay to like come in. So he was just like, nah, I don't want the job. They're going to end up with like Alan Pardew or something, and it's going to be great.
I'll just look it up. So Roberto Martinez is now favourite. Obviously, they'll have to wait for the Euros to be over if they're going to appoint him. Graham Potter is back in there at 10-1. Scott Parker's 13-1.
Yes, get Scott Parker in.
Eric Ten Hag still in there at 8. I'm not seeing that, to be honest.
Where's Jurgen Klinsmann?
Klinsmann, he's not on the short list that I've got. So I'm on TalkSport, and they've basically done a short list of people. And yeah, he's not on there. He'll probably be on there today. He'll probably be favourite tomorrow. It's
going to have a look to see what McBookie's saying about it if I can find it. Okay, list.
I feel like Everton's. I can't exactly mock Tottenham because Everton are doing exactly the same thing to equal levels of terribleness.
At least you aren't leaking everything, though. I don't know if it's Levy or someone in the club, someone else. But every inside information from Tottenham comes out within 5 minutes of it happening fairly clearly.
Yeah, well, Rafa's odds on for the Everton job, which I can't say that's a good idea.
So on the Jurgen Klinsmann front, William Hill have him at 10-1. Sky, I've got him at 8-1, and Betfair and Paddy Power have him at 6-1 for the Spurs job. So the odds are there. I just want them to go and do something like completely stupid for the hire. Like, Everton can go and get like a relatively sensible manager, quote unquote. But like I want Spurs to go and like give Ryan Mason the job permanently, or go and hire like Steven Gerrard for it. and just see what happens. Like, what's the worst?
I've seen his name linked to it.
Like, his name's going because of how he's done with Rangers and what was admittedly the poorest Scottish League season possible. It's going to be a case he's going to get linked to every English job now because he's seen as this great English manager that won the. Granted, he did go unbeaten with Rangers, but still lost both cups. So
Sky Bet have got him at 16-1, so that's the same price that William Hill are offering on Conte. So you know,
I'd be surprised if they go back for Conte because he's already told them that he basically can't see the team winning anything. So,
didn't he say he was taking a break from football for depression after the job interview?
I don't remember that, no.
I'm pretty sure that was a story that came out. Like he was not nailed on to get the job, went for the job interview, and then like an hour later, a report came out that he was stepping away from football.
Like he just walked out that job interview and like, what am I doing?
So you could go if you want to really like out there punt. Neil Warnock is 400-1 to get the Spurs job. With how many managers they're running through, I wouldn't rule out them going to somebody like Neil Warnock or Alan Pardew or
Scott Brown's got better odds than that. Scott
Brown's
250-1.
You know what they should do? Harry Kane, player manager.
Just to try and convince him to stay.
Yeah.
The only way that he's going to stay at the club is if he's got complete control of the club.
Oh no!
Emma Hayes is 100-1.
It'd be bold. I wouldn't be against it. I quite like Emma Hayes as a pundit. I can't say I know much about her management work, but she seems like somebody she's more intelligent than most of the male pundits that they wheel out.
Because 100-1 is the same odds that Sol Campbell has got, and also Wayne Rooney and David Pleat, who used to manage Tottenham. I actually thought David Pleat was dead, so that's a bit of a turn up for the books there.
It'd be interesting. I don't quite think it'd be who I'd go with, but then again,
Christian Eriksen, give him the job.
Well, I don't know. Like, he's got the pacemaker thing that Daley Blind's got, so I don't think he'll be retiring unless like he's
not allowed to play in Italy though, isn't he?
I don't know too much on that front.
I don't think they allow the pacemaker thing.
Well, he can come to Scotland. Come to Kilmarnock, Christian.
Bring back Martin Yall. So they got the shirts out, the big shirts out on the pitch.
Good.
I'm not really sure what purpose they serve, to be honest.
It's all just showmanship, isn't it?
A lot of water on the camera there as they're panning across. It is pissing it down.
Yeah,
it is absolutely pissing it down at Wembley.
Plays on the Scotland's advantage.
Yeah, this is ideal Scottish weather. This is. Sure, they'll be loving this.
Literally, because I've still got the game up on my tail, so I turned round when you said it was pissing it with rain. I saw two lads with Alex Salmon masks, and I kind of hope that they get punted out of Wembley because screw him.
We were talking earlier about. I've just realised I've left my tactics board up on the screen, so everyone can see what's going on tactically.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just problems... like that. Stuart Armstrong is sneaking onto the pitch.
Oh, get back there, Armstrong!
that's
Scotland's best chance to play 12.
The revolutionary tactic. We're just going to play one more man in England and get away with it.
McKenna's got creeping on there as well. So, I think the biggest chance that Scotland have got of getting something out of this game is getting Lyndon Dykes in here and causing Pickford trouble, and then getting the lads down the flanks, especially Robertson, and whipping them crosses in, causing problems for likes of Mings.
Tend to agree with you there, but Lyndon Dykes has no end product. So what I think you'll see happening is Dykes will try and draw defenders to him and give Adams a bit more space to kind of get in and try and take a shot. Because I don't necessarily trust Dykes with an open ball as much as I would trust Che Adams more.
It's not so much that. It's like he has a bit more aerial presence. So I think if you whip some crosses in, I think he can just put Pickford off.
But I think, yeah, I can see that. It's just as I was saying, I think the main role for Dykes tonight should be to try and just draw defenders towards him and allow somebody, be it Adams, McGinn or Gilmore, to kind of start making runs that only picked up. That would be the easiest way for us to try and nab something in this. I still can see it going to like the 90th minute, and only because I've been saying this all day, but 90th minute, John McGinn's scoring the winner. Birmingham will collapse. England will collapse. Tomorrow I'll be announced as like the Prime Minister or something, and it'll just be a good old time for everybody.
Yeah, I think McGinn is a genuine threat. The concern, if I was Scottish, is that he plays in these sort of areas, and there's a very strong chance of this happening.
Yes, I think the Czechs kind of shut him out as well, so I can see potentially the same thing happening. But I'm just hoping it's because it's kind of like the rugby in a sense where it doesn't matter what results we get in the Six Nations as long as we get something against England. I'm hoping it's kind of the same approach for the game tonight, is that the team would be happy. Realistically, Scotland aren't getting to the group stages, but we've qualified, and that's more than we've done since 1998. I'm hoping that the players play their heart out, because I'd take even a draw today to get beat by Croatia, because we would at least have taken something at Wembley.
I was going to ask you if you'd take a win here, even if it meant like then losing the last game and not getting out of the groups, but you said you'll take a draw. So,
yeah, so I mean, obviously I'd be kind of over the moon for a win. I think it'd be probably the greatest thing to happen to Scottish football since the invention of Kieran Tierney and Andy Robertson. But a draw would be more realistic. I think if we play that defensive football that everybody hates so much, but there's a place in football for defensive football, and it's games like this where you've got.
I mean, when you're outmatched by the opposition, it's probably best to start defensively and then see what you can do to work your way into the game. And I think there are avenues of opportunity for Scotland going forwards. It's just a case of whether they can find it at the right time.
Yeah,
I actually think the best route for Scotland is to try and press early, 10, 15 minutes, and then sit as the game settles. But I think, like, as I was saying earlier with Mings, I don't think Rice is any football in him either.
Is that because he turned down Ireland?
No, everything goes backwards. I actually would rather Josh Cullen in the centre midfield after watching him against Croatia. There was times where he was slipped to play the ball forward, would take a step forward, and then do a full pirouette around the player to give it back to a centre back.
Of course.
Well, Calvin Phillips is actually trying to pass it forwards first, generally.
I
think every midfield player needs to always try and pass it forwards. Yeah, sometimes you have to go backwards, but you should always be looking to go forward.
I feel like that's not really his role so much here. His role
I'm not
is
saying
just
defense
to
splitting,
control this area. It's almost like he's playing the same role as McTominay, but like slightly further forwards.
I think you'll maybe see McTominay move slightly forward. I don't think he'll be part of the back line at all times, but
the opportunity is there for this to happen. So if they need to, he can come roaming into these areas and kind of add numbers to the attack.
Scott McTominay the libero.
Yeah,
the thing as well.
That's why I had him in the middle at the start, but Alan told me he was in the wrong place, so I moved him.
Like up until the Czech Republic game, we were in like a 5-game unbeaten streak. Granted, like before that, we'd get beat by Israel in we have to play Israel every 2 games rule. But we're pretty solid. We're unremarkable. We're solid, and a lot of that comes from like McTominay in defence more than he has in midfield. So we'll see what happens there. But I don't know. The more the game's going to go on, the more nervous I'm going to get, and the more I'm just going to sit down tonic wine.
Well, that'll be fun too.
I win either way. Either I get ridiculously drunk and have a good time, or Scotland win and I have a good time. So I think that's the way that a lot of the people in the country are looking at it. The game being at 8 o'clock on a Friday night as well is peak programming or like peak scheduling, because folk don't have to try and book time off their work tomorrow. Folk can just enjoy the night, whatever happens, get smashed, and then just spend all day tomorrow just hungover. Whereas when we played Croatia, when we played the Czech Republic, it was the 2 o'clock kickoff, which is just ridiculous timing for any Scotland game.
On a Monday as well,
yeah. Let alone the first game where we'd played in a national tournament since the last decade, like last century even.
Did you hear about my pain in the first game?
Did not know.
I put €1 on or €2 on a bet builder thing, and it was Andy Robertson shot on target, Kufal assist. I can't remember the other one. over 10.5 corners and Souček to be booked. And Souček let me down on 900 quid.
Well, he can go and get fucked. So we don't
But
like Souček here.
He fouled a Scottish player, got a final warning on like the 40th minute, and had 3 more fouls by the ref from the ref. So I'm convinced UEFA knew my bet was in.
Don't do that again.
Because like we'd done the David Moyes draft, and I thought, oh great, we've got Thomas Souček and great bargain, everything's fine. Then he made those comments, and I just was instantly like, no, let's no. He's no anywhere near my squad. Swapped him out for FA Cup winning Roger Espinosa. So who's the real winner there?
Roger Espinosa, I think. So we're in the adverts just before kickoff, which is moments away. Can I get a prediction from you, gentlemen? I mean, I already have because we're in.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but I can't remember what it is, and I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah. So 1-0 Scotland with a goal coming in the 90th minute from John McGinn.
Didn't you say 9-0?
I mean, I did also say 9-0. That's the like the ideal, but I think realistically, if we keep it tight, we take it to 1-0. That's as much as winning 9-0, to be honest.
Yeah, you take a win.
Yeah, of course.
I'll go 2-1 England, but Scotland take the lead.
Ooh, okay. Saucy.
I'll take that.
You got to the point where you'll take anything. It's like Scotland only got 1 corner out of the game and 1 shot on target. Whoa, get it.
That'll be the corner that we'll score from, man. That'll be what's happening.
Honestly, I kind of hope you win, but we'll see how it goes.
I think what I want is, if we do win, I think seeing the media meltdown is going to be particularly chef's kiss. Because I remember, like years ago, when they did the group with the Yanks, Slovenia, and Algeria, when they had like done the whole like easy thing, and then England struggled to get out of that group. It'll be like that, but worse.
So I'm really hoping they didn't boo the knee, but like I see someone making a wanker motion in the background there. Fantastic. Well done.
Sorry, where am I watching this?
So you're in Discord. If you click onto the
legally, we have to say you can watch it on either ITV, STV, or the STV player,
or RTE. I have my own coverage here, but I was told not to use it.
The I in ITV stands for Ireland, right? That's what I've always assumed.
It used to be UTV over here, Ulster TV.
I just noticed my thing's not live for some reason. So yes, now it is. You should be able to see it now. Oh, they did boo the knee. Oh, that's sickening.
I mean, are you really expecting different?
Well, probably not, but you kind of hope, don't you? Because they're both doing it. I thought, bit of hope. It's the hope that kills you.
Yeah. I just can't say I'm realistic, but like, you knew all along, at least. I think there'll probably even have been some Scottish people booing the knee, because for all the attention's been on England fans doing it, Scotland fans have been kind of, not all the Scotland fans in the same way, it's not all the England fans, but the sentiment's still strong up here in Scotland, ridiculously, that booing the knee means you're, whatever the argument is, because I can't keep up with ever-changing argument, something about Marxism by people that don't understand what Marxism is.
I feel like that there are definitely racist people in Scotland, because I've been there. When we're not like broadcasting to people, I will tell you a story about something I overheard on a train in Glasgow, and it honestly is the most horrifying thing I've ever heard. Hope is the most destructive emotion there is. Yeah,
it's the hope that kills you, but hope springs eternal.
So we are underway. We're a couple of minutes in.
Yep.
Eddie's probably about to finish work. Should be along shortly.
He popped up in the Discord very briefly.
Oh, okay.
And then disappeared.
I don't know if my connection is struggling on your end, but it's struggling here.
I suppose I should change my name back from being Eddie's cousin.
I'm just going to make sure he's not trying to contact me, which he probably is.
He's contacting you from the other side. I mean, he's not dead, he's just on the other side.
I'm just sending him the link for the room again.
If you were to like draw a stereotypical Scottish footballer, I think the end result would be Grant Hanley. That's how we would do it. So just tell someone who's never watched a game of Scottish football to go draw a Scottish footballer, you'd just get Grant Hanley, potentially David Marshall. But like, I'm curious as to why Lyndon Dykes appears to have went full Stephen Naismith and just shaved his entire head.
Is he? Sorry, my screen just went a bit funny, so I kind of missed stuff.
Yeah, so Lyndon Dykes has went, in the course of years, went from dyeing his hair like a rainbow to going bleach blonde to seemingly going for the kind of classic Stephen Naismith or Scott Brown look where he just shaves his head.
There we go.
Now.
It's taken long enough.
Edward.
Hello.
I was watching the game.
My name is Eddie. My name is Eddie T. Rogue.
I changed it for you coming back as well.
First time listener, long time caller. What have you done to my show? No.
It's going fine. Everything's fine.
We've been well behaved.
I'm glad you've all been on your best behavior. I felt like a dad who's left his children for a while.
You know that bit during the stream, Eddie, where I stopped talking because I'm doing something and you just kind of fill in the gaps. I was aware that nothing was happening, and I was like, "Shit, that's me now."
That's the power of missing me. That's pretty much what you're saying. Okay, I'm back now.
It was great. It was fun.
Dad's home. Let's all behave now in front of Dad.
We did have Athos on for a bit, but he was having internet connective issues. He was sat in his garden though. Looked lovely.
Yeah.
I've received a message for someone who may want to join the chat. I don't know whether they actually messaged you, Arn, or was it just me? Let me just see.
But I don't know.
Oh, Getla has it here.
What are we doing? What's happening? Right, okay. Oh,
I don't know if it's my laptop's issue, but I seem to be struggling to be able to watch and chat at the same time.
Oh dear. I think it might be.
Is that because you're just very quiet?
Is that because
either I can watch the stream fine and I can hear yous, or I can only, or yous become robotic and then I can't watch the game.
Oh dear.
I've just seen some Steve Clark slander on the timeline, of which I'm not repeating, but I want people to know that I will fight them if they insult Steve Clark. That man's a hero, an icon, a legend in the Shire.
Oh dear. Right, let's see how this goes. This is going to be 5 minutes in. I've never cancelled a Sky account quick enough to get here.
Brilliant.
Nah, I'm kidding. If anyone
legally have to mention that was a joke.
That was a joke legally. Where are we? Okay. Did Arn get his nice wee lovely get up, Kane, you absolute dafty.
Yeah, I went to play that video that you sent earlier, and
I saw that. I watched that bit.
Actually hear it, but
I watched the beginning bit of it where I said hello and welcome to the Eddie and Arn experience without me. But yeah.
Alan couldn't hear it, but you could hear it on the stream.
I'll send him the message. No, I didn't hear it. I couldn't hear it on the stream, but I'll send it. I'll send it to Alan.
I heard that those people getting called the C word that can't be broadcast.
Well, I mean, technically we're on the fucking live one, so we can pretty much say whatever we want.
I'm going to try and play nice. Just wait though until like the 89th minute, and I'm effing and blinding.
You have to be aware, Rogue, that I'm 20 minutes ahead with the Shells match, so I'll be effing and blinding before you. We're still 0-0, by the way. Just on the update.
Is Tim Clancy still managing out in Ireland?
I don't know. Drogheda got promoted last year, and then they're doing well, so I don't know if he's still the manager. I assume he is. We got relegated after.
I mean, I know that feeling.
Shoving Tim Clancy in his box.
Team relegation, pals.
But to put it in perspective, we had been in the first division for over 10 years, or for 10 years. I got to see one game in the Premier Division. COVID hit, and then we got relegated. By the way, when it hit, we were third.
I'm quite happy.
Am I still apologetic that I almost gave you hypothermia by taking you to a Scottish football match, Brian?
It's the last game I was at. The last match I was at. And Eddie, I've represented Scotland today, so
look at you beautiful bastard! You.
I was gonna wear my blue Shells jersey because that's Scottish, and not my red Shells jersey because that's English. But then I decided this is better.
I've got my besties. I'm wearing wrestling stuff, but my Scotland shirt is like, I'll get that on. Fuck off.
Wrestling.
Listen. The only person who should get here is my co-host, who's currently wearing an absolutely awful looking thing.
This is the only. This is.
It looks like the '92 cricket jersey.
This is the only stylish shirt England have ever put out, so that's why I'm wearing it.
Anyway.
It looks very much like the '92 World Cup cricket jersey.
Why does he... I'm just reading through the comments because I've missed them, obviously, so please bear with me. Why does he persist with Grant Hanley?
Right, Grant Hanley, I was saying this, I don't know if you were in for it, but Grant Hanley is like what you would expect if someone drew a Scottish footballer.
Aye.
Just that kind of built like a slightly ugly statue that doesn't really move.
He is pish, but then he sometimes has moments of greatness, and it baffles me nonetheless.
It's like Barry Bannon, eternally terrible, but Sheffield Wednesday love him for some reason.
They were showing a build up to it, and they had people holding up a Barry Bannon flag, and I just thought to themselves, what drugs are these people on?
It should be a Barry banner.
And who can I get your supply off of? Look, there's Will Cooling's name. Oh, there he is, Gareth. Miserable looking man.
Gareth Southgate went downhill the moment he lost the waistcoats.
Can we talk about how for me and you, Alan, if you watch the STV coverage, can we talk about how sexy David Moyes looked?
I mean, he's always top shagger.
Oh, top shagger.
It just like the thing that perplexes me as well is that Scott Brown has hair now, and Scott Brown is also doing punditry at the Euros.
Yeah.
When did he get hair from? He was bald like a month ago.
I think somebody's like called him in with a Sharpie.
Oh, see,
has he joined the hair club for men?
he's went to the same place Wayne Rooney did.
Got all them plugs put in. Fair play to him, yeah. Wants to look his best for the team.
Can we? Don't want to say it too early while England are on the attack, but Scotland started quite brightly here.
Oh, that's a jinx.
Oh yeah,
I'm not JMO, it's grand.
No, you're not. But there's one other jinx in here.
And Scotland have started really well.
Get away!
Scotland are playing quite well here.
Get away!
But they're pressing like I thought they would mostly, and I've won it high a couple of times.
Since Scott Brown has hair, does Moyes have eyebrows now?
I'll break out the.
Ivan, the one thing I need to just say right now to Ivan, I was so worried I was going to miss out on Ivan McGann's comments because I always love reading them out.
Almost came on a tear.
How's he missed that?
Harry Kane is a non-bald fan.
Meanwhile, me and Alan, yeah,
celebrating wildly. That's it. That's all I needed to take from the game.
He's throwing the ball out. What's happened?
There was a Scottish player half limping. The time wasting has started.
Let's see what's happened. Okay, corner.
Who is defending? Like, what is that defending? How has he missed? Oh my god! That's the worst kind of football I've ever seen. Oh, it's John Stones.
He's not marked it in the slightest, is he?
No, he's not. Like, how has anyone ever got that much space in the 6-yard box?
Jesus, who's marking him?
There's Steve O'Donnell being useless as ever.
I closed his eyes when he headed it.
That's why he missed.
When I played under 10, I'd be shot if A, I left someone free in the 6-yard box, and B, if I closed my eyes when heading the ball.
That is
cool form.
That is just rotten. How
can't believe he's missed that. That is an absolute sitter.
England have started off really well here, don't you think, Alan?
Wow. We've had the 10-minute free play. Scotland's about to just start Scotland in.
Oh.
I'm not sure what happened there. Was they offside or?
No, it's It's just went out.
No.
Is he just kicked out?
Me?
Yeah, he's just kicked out. Mount is just kicked out.
Hey, Dafty.
Oh, McTominay, no.
I don't think Mason Mount's a good football player. I also think he's someone that looks like he should be in a sex offenders register.
I agreed with you on
Well,
both
these,
counts.
these are the comments
For
of
9
Alan
months.
Rogue. Do not match the Arn and Eddie experience.
I did agree with you for a while, but I actually thought the last 6 months of this year he was excellent. And it
Turns
changed.
out, I was reading earlier on, it turns out, like, according to Lee Clark, who was a gaffer 2 before Steve Clark, Kilmarnock tried to take Mason Mount on loan? Question mark.
Here we go. Here we go. Oh, Linden.
Can I just say that Lee Clark is a
Dykes.
fraud? And
Well,
should
not even
never be
Linden.
allowed
Is
managing
Linden?
anyone?
Lee Clark's great. He's
Did Linden
No.
go full bald?
Hate
Yeah,
him.
Linden has he's went for the Scott Brown look, and I don't know if it's like to try and intimidate people or if he's just realised that's his level.
That has scared me.
Did he say
completely.
that there was no chance Wales would beat Turkey? Is that how he ended up bald?
Turns out everybody was making that bet.
Yeah, it's poor
here we go.
thing to say on Twitter, to be honest with you. Asking
Who's
for
getting
trouble.
yellow? Who's getting yellow here? The Josh look. Okay. Might actually be McGinn who's getting the. Might be
Get,
McGinn.
get
Oh.
stuck in
Oh,
again.
Calvin Phillips.
Penalty.
And that's a
Shells.
penalty. I can hear it in the background.
Was that for
Penalty for
Shells or was
Shelburne.
that again?
4 shells.
We might see a celebration here that's not
We're
for me
getting-
or Alan.
Where else would you get such coverage of Scotland versus England and also some random Irish league game?
There's been a goal.
Our
boo-hoo for
youngster
it.
got spelled again. Shane Farley's having an unbelievable season.
One day
He's about
we
4
might.
foot. Well, no, he's about 5'7" and weighs about 6 stone. Has braces and is unreal.
One day for a laugh, we might do we would do. Imagine if we did like a super scoreboard type of thing. There's been a goal, but who for it? Let's go to Brian.
Has there?
I don't know, Jeff. Has there?
I'll tell you what,
Oh,
I know you're joking there, but that would be awesome.
I mean, we need to do it. Who's getting the yellow card? Is that Dykes for simulation?
He's
No.
pointed at McGinn.
Is
That's
it a
his-
third foul?
If McGinn gets taken off, that puts a dampener in my plans of McGinn scoring in the 90th minute. I'll be perfectly honest.
Oh, that. I mean, he's pretty much tried to.
Get number 15 for England sent off, get him sent home, get him out of the Euros.
Begin with the yellow there. And Andy Ogden has won £15 and 50 pence on John McGinn being
1-0
carded.
shells.
Everyone's a
Right
winner.
down the middle.
Everyone's a winner. The Ogdens have won. One of the Ogdens has won £15 and 50 pence, and Shells have scored. What a joyous occasion!
Now,
And-
can Scotland join them? That'd be nice.
I don't think so. I mean, I've realised we've got John Carver in our
Yeah,
in our
so-
coaching staff.
I think
Um,
John Carver got brought in to replace Alex Dyer when Alex Dyer took the Kilmarnock job.
Yeah, that would not surprise me. Come on,
Yeah.
come on. What's going on here? Oh, get that big lumpy bastard away.
Now, Ed, that could refer to any number of players in both teams.
Sorry, get that tall, lanky bastard away. Named with number 9. There we go.
The last
Eric Ranger-
game of football I went to watch live was at Alf Church, and it was of a better standard than this.
Alan,
Wow.
did you see that? Alan, did you see that logo, which was Berwick Rangers
What?
on tour?
I did not. Why are they going on tour? What dreams did Berwick Rangers have a day in anything?
Who's given? If you've given a thumb down, then you're a poor, miserable, lonely man who needs help.
Sad existence.
Maybe
David.
it's because I've got. Maybe it was Athers now.
Yeah, Arthur's internet connection wasn't great.
It's because of the guest you have.
He was in the middle
Yeah,
of making
Brian.
a point, and he kind of.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I've got haters.
Oh, he's offside. Wouldn't
I
have
know
counted.
something. I have to keep clicking in and out of the stream because it
I was,
seems to freeze my chat ability.
I was cheering Eddie Sideburns' mom, who made a slight cameo.
Oh, did I miss Eddie's mom?
Yeah,
Hi, Eddie's mom.
Oh yeah, his mum. Thanks for having me last year.
I can't get past how ridiculous Phil Foden looks.
Right, there we go. Hello, everybody. She's here.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Ryan?
Oh.
Hi.
That was great.
They are. We're all watching it. It's right here. Bye bye. Fucking hell. Hello.
Hello.
I missed
hello.
what happened.
Hello
I missed
again.
what happened. Welcome to live on stream.
Eddie, do you need someone
Brilliant.
to talk to?
No, I don't. I'm fine. But
Good.
yeah. Anyway, is what it is. Right. What did I miss? I think I missed. Did England have another chat? A chance?
Yeah,
it was
but
offside.
Foden was offside.
So
It was
live
offside.
stream.
Wouldn't have counted.
Typical England. Thanks, Yal, for laughing there. I feel really great about my self-esteem now.
Oh, of course.
I'm just happy that I was spotted immediately and
Yeah.
pointed out. I made quite an impression in the one night I stayed,
Yeah.
and that might have been the near-death experience.
Yeah.
There was a what do you
It's,
can't just say there was a near-death experience.
Well, it wasn't. I'm exexaggerating now.
it's
I mean,
not
he-
Scottish football.
But I
if there
did
isn't any
actually
of
get
that.
I did actually get hypothermia.
You did have
Really?
it pretty much seemed like you did have hypothermia. Let's be completely honest here. Because you came home, you went home, and you were significantly ill.
Yeah, and then I was even more ill after going to Germany the week after, in the midst
So we
of a.
We blame
COVID.
Germany. That's all it is.
Well-
It's just Germany's fault.
I was very ill in Scotland. Thought I'd
I don't know.
had recovered, and then Germany took me out of it. And they
Yeah,
say it
I-
wasn't COVID.
Yeah, I remember you saying that you thought
Oh.
you got it, and I was like, but
Oh,
I was at the same table as him. I'm pretty sure I sat right next to him for about 2 hours at one stage. So I was like, please don't be COVID.
I was told it wasn't multiple times by medical people, but then the symptoms have changed in the last year, so maybe it was.
Going to start using your blood for vaccines. That's how it works, I'm sure.
Well, I got a cold that weekend from Mike Kilby. So
Kilby boo.
Yeah.
Hi,
Luton Town
Brian.
boo.
oh, you handsome lads.
Where?
It's
Is that
us,
on the pitch or? Because he's obviously not looking at Grant Hanley.
Hey, Grant Hanley's rugged and manly. And that's the nicest way we're going to talk about him.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me a bit of Grant Holt.
I
It must
love
just
this
be a
Chad
thing.
so much.
We just
How
got
is
a thing
Grant
that
Holt
called
not
Grant.
Scottish?
No, he was from Norwich.
I know
question mark?
I know he wasn't. How was he not?
He was one
well.
of those ones who looks like you could say he could have an Scottish grandmother
I'm
or something like
gonna-
that, or some.
I'm
great
going to
relative.
start offering my services where English players who can't get a call up can come to me and be like, you know what, I need you as a Scottish relative so they can get called up. I'm sure there's absolutely no flaws with this plan whatsoever.
Are you?
We asked
what?
Patrick Bamford every
Yeah.
6 months if he wants to play for Ireland, and he's still saying no. He still has hopes of being called up for England.
Can John Stones maybe just settle his kettle, trying to ride Lyndon Dykes?
Wicket.
Just trying to put him in his place there. His place is face down on the floor.
Look, if England want to just keep giving away daft tackles in their end, I'm perfectly happy with that. Because it just means more chances for Scotland, really.
Well, yeah, set pieces is a good chance, I think.
Oh, because like it's a 50-50 with set pieces. Like it's especially free
Yeah.
kicks, it's going in or it's not.
Not if they put a cross in like that.
Oh,
Well,
Oh, no.
that's ambitious.
I was gonna wonder if that was Jack Henty, but then realised Jack
Off his
Henty
rifle.
is not starting. Am I right?
Yes,
When it left
thankfully,
his foot here,
Jack
I thought
Kennedy-
they had the right dip and all, but then
We still have Stephen O'Donnell on the pitch, which is just as good.
I don't want to know. Stephen O'Donnell must be paying Steve Clark every cap that he gets, just like £500.
The way you have changed on the way your mood has changed on Stephen O'Donnell has
Look.
been a wonderful and sad thing to see.
So Stephen O'Donnell was great for Kilmarnock, and then
Yep.
Stephen O'Donnell decided
Oh
he
yes,
was too big for Kilmarnock, and
Mhm.
then ended up at Motherwell, who finished about 4 places above us in the league. Now, granted, we get relegated. He's just also not very good. And I think
No.
the more that you watch him, the more he gets found out. If Charlie Mulgrew can put in a shift, sure, call him up for Scotland next. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I like Brian's comments. I like Brian. Brian's being really nice. Like 3 of you have had said Arn has big Stelling vibes.
We were actually discussing Brian doing a Super Soccer Friday.
Something like that.
Super Saturday.
Super Football Friday. Fantastic Football Friday.
Football Friday.
I'm just for all that I've slated Stephen O'Donnell, I'm expecting him to be involved with the winner somehow. Because like there was a cross that he put in when he played with us, that he crossed it from just outside Kelly's box and crossed it the full length of the pitch up to Liam Miller, and Liam Miller scored off of it. So if he can do that again, then Stephen O'Donnell goes back to being a national hero. If he does nothing similar, then Stephen O'Donnell's still shite. There's no middle ground. Just no middle ground at all.
There's never any middle ground.
There was a League of Ireland mainstay called Stephen O'Donnell, and I genuinely had to be like, no, it's not. He was about 30. He left one of the League of Ireland First Division clubs at 33 about 3 years ago. It can't be him.
Stephen O'Donnell plays like he's 33.
Oh, come on.
There?
Yeah.
He's
It's okay, Mick. It's okay. McTominay has decided no. Oh, McTominay and Shaw bumping into each other there.
Get stuck into them, Tom.
I was well onside.
No.
This is no kind of a touch, though. I don't know what he's doing there, but well in McTominay.
Yeah, of course. Get stuck into the English.
I saw some TikTok about, and again, I hate the app so much.
Eddie.
Don't. I already know, because I only watch TikToks, and I'm like, I think I'll watch maybe 4, and then it'll be fine. And then it's 2 hours later, and I'm stuck down that hole, and I'm
It's never good.
But there was one which actually basically was like, oh, it's Scottish players celebrating when they're not actually Scottish, and it like had Dykes and it had McTominay, and then had Kieran Tierney because he's born on the Isle of Man. It's like,
yeah, I'm fairly certain Lyndon Dykes is born to Scottish parents. He just was born out in Australia.
Yeah,
there's something like that.
Yeah,
my favourite Lyndon Dykes story is how he stole his manager's wife.
Oh yes,
So Lyndon Dykes, when he moved to Queen of the South from Australia, he stayed with the Queen of the South manager at the time, whose name I've forgotten. But
I'll find it.
He stayed with him, and then eventually has stolen his wife and his kids. But it's not like kidnapping them; it's legally stealing them.
Stealing them.
So I don't think he's got custody. I think the kids.
That's not a foul, though. Oh, it is a foul.
It's not.
Very clear.
No, it's not a foul at all. Like, so he came over.
They'll point at the ball after I've kicked the guy's legs. Love it.
Came over from Australia.
You got to get in the ref's head.
Stole his manager's wife. Got a move to Livingston, then got a move to QPR out of it. And I'm fairly certain the Queen of the South manager hasn't actually managed anywhere notable since.
Jim Thompson. It's Jim Thompson.
So, yeah, it's Lyndon Dykes. He's a bit of a character. He's also a bit terrible.
Arn, what were you panicking about there? Was that something to do with the game, I hope?
Yeah, well, Pickford took a bit of a heavy touch. And
yes. We need, prime Gaff Pickford. We don't need, European or World Cup form Pickford. We need, middle of the Premier League season, tiny arms
Pickford.
I tell you what, as an Everton fan, I have seen plenty of Jordan Pickford gaps, which is why, anytime the ball goes anywhere near him, I'm just terrified.
We need him when he tried to wipe out Virgil van Dijk. Well, I say tried.
Big man.
If any Liverpool fans are in here, I have no sympathy.
It's tremendously funny.
I do
thanks,
hope
Toby.
all the teams.
We're just happy to be here. When you look at it this way, we've done better than Northern Ireland and Ireland, so that's a win. Sorry, Brian.
Aye.
Listen.
The worst part about that playoffs was how Mick McCarthy was on commentary for it and was like, "Well, I got this team to the playoffs, and now Kenny has messed it up." We got to the playoffs by being in the Nations League, losing all our games.
Bastard.
In the Nations League, but everyone else in our group qualifying automatically, so we got a playoff. We didn't win a game for years.
I would not be surprised if it happened on Dream Team because the amount of storylines of that absolutely or Footballers'
what a
Wives,
show.
whichever one. Just had to look this up. McTominay signed his first pro contract in 2013, right after Fergie retired. Safe to say he's Fergie's last name. I'd say.
Well, I think the
do Man United players even rate him though?
Who, McTominay?
Man United
I think
fans.
they do. Based on,
I think some of them do, some of them don't.
It's a work rate thing, but
I think it's a case of like. I think
he's a good lad.
They expect McTominay to be better than he is, but they also don't appreciate what
he's talking.
The closest I might be getting, I'm probably wildly off base with this because it's far before my time, but I think he's like the closest to Paul Scholes that United have, and that he's kind of a good midfield presence that the team misses him when he's not there, but he's not a standout. He's like the glue that kind of puts that team together. The problem
I think you're underrating Paul Scholes.
Well, he's ginger, so he automatically goes down a fair bit.
I think you're either underrating Paul Scholes or overrating Scott McTominay, but I think there's a massive gap between them.
I just think like you watch United when McTominay's not there, and I think they miss a little something that McTominay brings. But then again, fuck United for the Super League stuff.
So, Alex Ferguson's last signing would have been Wilfred Zaha.
Oh yeah, he knew it was boned when he left that Man United.
I thought it was Moyes' daughter that was boned.
Right.
Well,
yes.
Is that the content that the Arn Eddie experience?
Can we? Well, I mean, when it's not the PG ones for sure.
We're live. We're just shooting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Shay.
Damn you, Pickford.
You're meant to have short arms, Pickford. There's your Stephen O'Donnell highlight.
Stupid.
Stephen O'Donnell nearly scoring a worldie.
If Stephen O'Donnell had done something, then I would have had to delete every tweet and potentially my entire Twitter account.
Just delete your account.
Oh.
If O'Donnell had scored that, I would have not made any difference.
Ivan's got a good point. I think he's probably more so Nicky Butt than he is. That was a corner. Did they not show the corner?
Nicky Butt's well before my time. Paul Scholes is
wasn't a corner.
I feel Nicky Butt is accurate. I'll go along with that.
Yeah,
okay. We didn't want to see the corner ITV. Thank you so much.
I want to check something before I commit some slander.
How are you 2 minutes behind? Because Arn.
It's because we're on ITV Hub, so we're all on the same timeline, and ITV Hub is 2 minutes behind because it sucks.
I'd like to make an amendment.
I was shocked to find out that it's 1 minute behind RTE Player, and RTE Player sucks.
Scott McTominay has never beaten a woman that I know of. Nicky Butt has done twice.
Right.
It's on Wikipedia, so it must be true.
Anyway, thank you very much for everyone checking into the Arn Eddie experience as we carry on this, potentially cancelling people like Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes, Scott McTominay by comparing him to someone who may have allegedly. There's a player down. Are you not calling the fucking whistle ref?
The whistle?
Whistle?
I'm so honestly. Sometimes I just words escape me.
Get the gristle.
Get the whistle and the gristle. Of course they are.
Oh dear.
Get stuffed, Foden, your wee Android. Look at him and tell me that he doesn't look like someone from Silicon Valley 10 years ago. He's created to be attempted to be the perfect footballer, and he's just not.
Hold on.
Also, he looks like an extra from the Real Slim Shady video.
Yeah.
I feel like all my football opinions are just being disagreed with tonight because I think he's a very good footballer. He's unbelievable.
Foden?
Yeah.
I mean, he is a good footballer, but he's just a little shite.
You've got to remember, Brian, that two of us here are actively looking for England to lose as well. So I'm disparaging that entire team. But then tonight,
would not be surprised if the entirety of England want themselves to lose a little bit, so they don't have to face France, Germany, or Portugal.
It's just the scenes where, in the 90th minute, Pickford just volleys it into his own net, just so that England finish second.
Was that game? That game was meant to be in Wembley, was it? The
This-
winner of this group versus
Yeah.
second in the other group.
I think they're possibly talking about moving it.
No, but like originally,
They were talking about moving the final, so the winner of this group is at Wembley, I think.
but was
Yeah.
it always? Because I had the last 16 game, and I know it was possibly England, but I can't remember the original format.
I think so.
honest,
When it was in Dublin originally, pre like the world going to
your
Tax.
entire country basically banjaxing it.
pre the entire world banjaxing it, and our country, yes, also banjaxing it.
You may want to move some sort.
Yeah, I see that now. That's that odd.
Oof, that's some spicy content.
Arn
just
does
gonna
really
sort that
gonna
out.
fall in the
He
chat.
is a wrestling fan.
While Arn does that, how are we all today? We're doing okay. Alan, you doing well?
Got the El Dorado.
Oh, that's good.
My calves are very sore
so-
because I've been running
so
again
far-
lately.
Is that better?
Yeah. So far that's happened is I've been hit in the head by
Now
my
it's
mother.
California.
Arn-
juniors.
Arn has a BJ Junior sign, and we're slandering Scott McTominay.
No, we're not slandering Scott McTominay. We're slandering the class of '92. By the end of tonight, I'll work my way through all of those bastards.
I actually watched that documentary's on Amazon Prime, so I watched it quite recently.
Class of 92.
Yeah, it's got Robbie Savage in it, and I just kind of thought, oh,
I keep forgetting that Robbie Savage is a part of that class of '92 because, like, he's never talked about as part of it. He's just Robbie Savage, Daft Welshman.
there's a
Which is-
ton of those players who are like
I
class of
suppose.
92
I
that
sup-
you don't talk about.
I suppose that Savage being known as a Daft Welshman's better than Ryan Giggs being known as an abusive Welshman. So
Do you know what's also baffling is
Who
when you
then?
look at players who are part of the United youth system and where they ended up. It's like John Rankin was part of Man United's youth system.
what?
Yep. Go
No,
and search it.
Surely not.
Go search it. John Rankin was part of Man United's youth system.
Fucking Christ. So
I feel like
actually,
they
so was-
went through a period in that era where they just obviously signed
And-
every child in the world.
And also, it
Because
gets better
it's
when you
just like
find out. When you
A
find out what
series
team.
amount of players. Sorry, go
Oh
ahead.
yeah. No. The one thing is when you find out, Alan, what team that he went on loan to during his Man United spell, I think you will laugh because it's the most random place.
yeah. It's
He went to- He went to
Fucking shit.
Corinthians.
alongside Ben Muirhead, who after his time at Corinthians, in fact, no, according to Wikipedia, he didn't go. Sean McGinty as well was a part. He was at United's youth academy, but he's absolutely immense, and I'm very much looking forward to
Oh
playing against him.
no! Oh no!
Oh, that's a shame.
I am going to hurt Phil Foden.
Get him sent off. No, get back up, good man.
Oh, he was
It was
clearly
not-
fine, lads.
It was
As
not.
soon as
Foden
you
in
get
that.
Phil Foden sent off, it's Mason Mount.
But there was nothing in it. Like, he starts holding his leg, spits on the ground, and goes, me leg. Like, he's fine.
Hey! Listen
Hey.
to you. He's made
Yeah,
of
you.
glass. You don't know what the fuck's going on with him. He could injure himself at any moment.
Billy Gilmore is a good Kilmarnock lad. Putting some wine
It's a
back.
bit like that Blondie
Yeah.
song, Heart of Glass, but like Kieran Tierney's
So-
song is Legs of Glass.
Yeah. So I think the Gilmores are actually from Irvine, but like they did their schooling in Kilmarnock. They were in Kilmarnock youth books.
Oh,
Guys,
no.
I just need to very briefly interrupt.
Where did we go?
I don't know if I should turn it up, but
Uh.
for some reason, we're playing some like trance music for the halftime highlights of the Wexford versus Shells game. On the official, this is the official league stream. Like, I'm paying for this.
Of course, just get the rave on. It's like
Robbie
Pixel.
Savage.
I don't know if
Robbie
you can hear
Savage
this.
Yeah, I can hear it. What?
It's
It
quite.
sounds like a rip off Joey Janela's indie music.
I'll give you a clue, Brian. We're at 37 minutes right now. So if you're ahead of us, you'll probably realise Robbie Savage is the James Corden of pundits is the best comment I think I've ever seen.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Absolute. tool.
Brian isn't sure how ahead or behind he is.
That's why
Oh
I
yeah,
told
because
him-
we haven't got the clock up. That's right.
We don't have a clock. Unfortunately, we could add a clock. We can maybe look into doing that. Be like in the middle of us between everybody.
We're approaching minute 38.
I was about to like hold my phone to the camera with the time on it. Then I remembered that wouldn't help at all in this situation. The time.
Here is my phone. Here is my phone. Here is my background.
Background is just Pikachu getting held down.
Yeah, everyone's probably about 90 seconds to 2 minutes ahead.
Well, I'm considering so apparently RTE don't let you be not live. They usually do. I've definitely done it before, but for this, I guess I'm not allowed. I don't know if that's UEFA rulings or something.
Who's he shouting? Who's the referee shouting at there?
All of them.
Your dad.
Just you lot.
You lot over there.
You over there. Oh. But alas, nothing comes of it.
No real attempt to get out of defence there, England. They just stood around.
Oh. Scotland are outplaying them, I think. Now England have had a couple of chances. England have had the best chance of the game with Stone. I can't believe he missed.
Yeah.
Stop.
I'm giving a pundit's intake.
Well, what
and I appreciate it.
I was asked to be the impartial advisor.
You were asked to be impartial and you turned up in a Scotland shirt.
Hey, it's Queen's Park. It's fine. It's not traditionally Scotland. Unlike me that's showing up wearing a Scotland kit and a salt tire.
Yeah, but that's just because you're you and everyone loves you. Fair 9 minutes.
Why is your flag named after what I imagine is a fish?
But the salt tire?
Yeah, salt tire sounds like a fish-based dish that comes in a tin.
What? Are you thinking of sardines?
It sounds like sardines adjacent, a different kind of fish.
So also the salt tire.
You catch a load of in a big net out in the North Sea somewhere.
Yeah, and for some reason in the tin they're pickled.
Of course. But yeah, so the salt tire's big in Tenerife as well. I think it's their flag. So shout out to Tenerife.
I assume you mean the design and not the same colours.
No, I think it is. I think it is like the exact same colours.
Really?
The Tenerife national team, not Tenerife national team. Tenerife football team.
So the flag of Tenerife is a white salt tire or cross of Burgundy or St Andrew's cross over a blue field. So it is effectively the exact same as the salt tire for Scotland. And also in lesser news, I know that for a while outside Ibar Stadium there was a Scotia Labrada outside, like graffitied in the wall, which is just Spanish for Scotland the Brave. So big up Spanish homies.
I know there's stuff where because Ibar has a lot of expats who are, I think they've got bought shares in the club or something like that.
Yeah, so I think you find that a lot with Spanish clubs that fans can buy. And I know there's some clubs that are completely fan owned, but there's some as well that will like shares can be bought in the club. What
was the club that got saved a couple of years ago? That was the thing, wasn't it?
There was a few. I know that you had Salamancas who've kind of split off, or they had a Phoenix club, Unionistas de Salamancas, which is kind of completely fan owned. Because I read an article on the BBC website about it.
Okay.
Was there top division? They were near top division, or the West Brom was playing, and
what a terrible thing to be.
They were going to get bankrupt, and then a few journalists kind of rallied people to just buy 2 shares for 20 quid each.
I own some shares in Stennismuir Football Club. I am an important businessman.
How many shares do you have in Stennismuir?
2. Had to remember how my hand worked there.
I'm paying your dividends with that 1 ticket I bought to a Stenny game.
And I've had sponsorships with BSC Glasgow, who no longer called BSC Glasgow. They don't have a name though.
Have they They've not renamed themselves yet.
Not yet, but they are doing so because they broke away from the Broomhill Sports Club.
Yeah, and we went to go see them take on Hibs in the Scottish Cup.
After we went and seen them in the East Kilbride, where there's footage of me and you and sports scene, and I'm celebrating the goal going in by grabbing my phone because I was like, it's a minute in.
There's the guy behind us who just kept shouting, "Come on, UK!"
Oh, he gets so fed up with us cheering that he moved.
We really were not in the BSC Glasgow section.
But it turns out we were though. But like we just kind of like because it's non-league football. Like, there's no real sections, so we just kind of went and stood wherever we could, and we're like quite at the front. And then with that Mr. Man who was unhappy with us.
Come on, Nicky. Oh, come on. I'm very excited for Scottish football to come back and to see how the lower league ends up being.
Because I know that Kilmarnock's actually away to both like on the same week as my birthday, so I'm hoping I can get to that. Obviously, depends how
I'll be driving you to Arbroath then, I take it.
I think I'm gonna go next week. The Shells.
I think we're in a weird case where there's some teams are experimenting with fans. I think it's like minimal capacity, but I'm hoping
we're the same. But
by
I
September,
think anyone's allowed to have 200 once they have a 5,000 seater, which we do.
I think we're kind of more or less the same.
I'll have to apply and get a ticket, but also I'm a season ticket holder, so I can't imagine there's more than 200 season ticket holders. So I'm hoping if they're gonna do it by season ticket.
Adams, not that one. I'm off.
Oh, that's
I'm off my redacted. That's redacted. Mentioned the wrong one. Oh.
I will not stand for that slander.
Hey, Che Adams is
Birmingham
good. The other one,
Che Adams.
Che Adams is great. Love him. Huge fan. If Grant Hanley was to score, I think I may have to throw the telly out.
That's not a great corner routine.
That's a hopeful cross.
Liverpool's finest.
The stats nerds would have that as an XC for expected cross. Hey, you're talking about Dundee United legend.
I know you're not a fan of XG, but have you seen Denmark in the tournament?
Spent a good year at Dundee United, then went to Hull.
I can't say that I've been keeping an eye on XG because I think it's for nerds.
Okay, football manager man, Alan.
But so Denmark are the only team ever in the Euros to have lost 2 games and having 20 push shots in both. So they've scored one goal with a XG, and I know you're not a fan of it, of like 3.9.
So like my problem with XG is like it's the same as like a lot of like stat-based work. You can give something an XG, but then it only goes so far. If that player overperforms in their XG, it just means that either they've had a really good season or that your XG workout's nonsense.
The idea is obviously long term, and with enough data, it will normalize. But the problem with football is that
John, don't argue with him. John, the half's over. Don't argue with him.
No, argue. We want fights.
Right. So
people do overuse it now. Like it has, I think it has value, but people definitely overuse it.
Because I'd in my weekly saving Football Manager, I had a striker who had an XG of like 14, but got like nearly double that. Bye, Arn.
Arn wearing shorts, coward.
Football Manager definitely doesn't. Well, I'd say it captures it properly with the actual model in real life, but in terms of the game engine, doesn't capture it.
Yeah.
Every striker overperforms for XG, I think. Except my Liverpool, the Montevideo team. They very much underperformed all XG stats.
While he's gone, let's quickly have a chat, and then when he comes back, we'll get his views. Alan, what was your thoughts on the first half of that game?
How the fuck are Scotland still in this? Is my thoughts. More importantly, how the fuck have Scotland had a few attacking chances? Like,
yeah,
I was expecting far worse, and I'm not putting this all down until Arn comes back. I might just hold it last for the rest of the game. But I thought to take it away for like having jokes and repossession arms. I thought we played really well for what compared to how we did against the Czechs. Like we've been keeping it tight, which is what we need to be doing. And we're still, I think the 2 men up tops, Blindendyks is doing what I expected of him, which is kind of creating a kind of more physical nonsense to himself.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst you allow players to run in the back of him. He's got Bevs for the boys.
Oh, hey, there he is.
Hey.
I was about to make the same run, but I will give my update on the team. I think Scotland have been the better team so far. England have created the better chance. When they say created, they put a cross in, and Scotland decided Stones didn't need to be marked.
Stones should have buried that. More importantly, if Stephen O'Donnell scores, I will probably delete myself. And he's come close.
I
Stephen
will
O'Donnell.
be back
Stephen
in 2
O'Donnell with that
minutes.
chance. No problem, Brian. Stephen O'Donnell with that chance. That was quite good. Arn, thoughts on the first half?
It's not been great. It's not been great at all. I mean, Andy Ogden's just chipped in there saying Kane's been poor. I think going forward, England have been very weak. They've not looked creative at all.
Kane is playing like it's May 19th. Wrestling joke.
Yeah, I think
Kane's not playing like he's worth 150 million quid.
No, I mean that header he should buddy that.
I don't think Kane is worth that much, and I think Tottenham's his level. I think you put him in a team with better players and with a better coaching system, and he gets found out, which might just be what he needs. Because I don't know, he comes off as like very classically English, and I hate him.
I hate him as well. I hate him because he plays for Tottenham. To be fair, but
and
I feel like we should pity him for playing for Tottenham. Like he's stuck in the football equivalent of hell.
And in terms of Scotland's chances, obviously they had the Stephen O'Donnell chance. Billy Gilmore's been impressing me from what I've seen so far.
We were talking before the game about the midfield tussle that we were expecting. For me, I think Scotland are edging it in there, which is not really what we were expecting to see pre-game. McGinn has played a lot better than he did in the game. Gilmore's been decent. It just this setup seems to be working.
Yeah. And
England are going to have to change what they're doing because at the moment Sterling is basically nullified because he's got nowhere to run into. Kane is kind of like hovering around here with 3 centre-backs on the back of him. And Foden's kind of, buzzing around trying to make something happen. But they've not had a lot of service from the midfield. Neither fullbacks really got forwards. I think the only good thing about the half from an English point of view is at least they haven't made a complete mess of it and it's 0-0.
Yeah. I mean, do you reckon, Alan, do you reckon Scotland still have a chance? Do you think they need to make any changes or what do you think?
So look, until we go an unsurmountable amount of goals down, we're still in this. That's the thing. Right now we've got as much a chance as England do, and all we need is potentially a lucky break or a free kick or a corner to come in. We get that goal, and then suddenly the game's back in its head.
Free kicks and corners, but I feel like the set pieces from Scotland have been very poor. Like as well as they've played generally throughout the game, like their set pieces have not been a highlight for me. The corners have been poor. The free kicks have been poor.
I think the first half's been a kind of feeling out process for both teams to see how. If Scotland are raising their game, if England are kind of, from what I've seen, like England, there's this John Stones chance, but there's been a few times as well where it just seems like England should have maybe taken a touch less of that. I don't know if it's because they're just being England at a national tournament and just doing what they normally do, or if it's a case of that maybe they have overlooked Scotland a little bit. And in the same case at Scotland's, I think Steve Clarke did it best by taking Scotland out of Scotland to train for the games, rather than kind of getting the national press and everything hyping them up. It's a case that he's went down to, I think it's Middlesbrough that they're training out of, and it's just getting them out of the zone. And I think it's like we've been more solid than we were against Czech Republic. David Marshall thankfully hasn't decided to go a little bit of a wander. We just need to keep it tight. If they get a corner and make sure that somebody's marking somebody, or just that we're not giving free headers away in the box. And up until somebody scores, that's it. There's a chance either way.
Yeah. If we look at the stats so far, stats don't mean a lot, but if we look at them, England with 4 shots, Scotland with 5. England have no shots on target. Scotland have had 1. England have had 60% of possession.
I feel like they've done a lot with it.
I think from looking at it, you've been kind of passing. You've not been making any. You've been trying to pass sideways rather than passing more so forwards at certain points.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of that where they've just kind of gone across and then back across just to try and pull Scotland's defence one way or the other. But you can't pull that apart because they've got the 3 in the centre, Let's pull the tactics back up. So they've got the 3 through the middle. So this is quite compact, but like it can turn into this. So they're trying to pull this around, and you can't because there's 5 players. So you've already got the box covered. So that all that's happening is you're getting these lads passing the ball across here and back across again, and the same thing is happening, which is nothing. And that's where we're at.
Alan, do you expect any changes? Would you change anything if you were in Steve Clarke's shoes?
I wouldn't change anything just yet. I would give it 5 or 10 minutes to see if anybody's starting to flag a little bit. Possibly, if you're going to make a change, maybe take off Callum McGregor for somebody. I don't necessarily know who, because I think that's the one in the midfield 3 that you could take out and be kind of interchangeable.
Do you think you need somebody like Forrest for a bit of trickery?
I don't particularly rate James Forrest. I'm going to say no there. I don't think he's as good.
I said somebody like.
He's also got some allegations against him that I'm not a fan of. The man apparently likes to get his member out in nightclub toilets. I'd much rather not have that in a Scotland team. I think potentially O'Donnell's not been bad, but this is maybe the game to bring on Nathan Patterson. It's potentially the highest profile game of the boys' career so far. But I don't know. O'Donnell's not been bad, but I just think if we let both fullbacks or both wing backs go attacking, you could possibly get a little bit more. And I don't trust Stephen O'Donnell going that far up the pitch. Okay. I still hold it, because there was a moment in the Czech game that I still hold against him where Ryan Christie's got the ball on the kind of right-hand side of the Czech Republic box, and he's going to cut into the box, and Stephen O'Donnell just stands in front of him and almost acts as a defender for the Czech Republic. So I think that O'Donnell kind of can panic a little bit.
I found that quite funny.
I didn't.
What did you think quite funny?
What did I find funny? Yeah. O'Donnell's standing in the way, so when Christie cut in, he just ran straight into him.
Oh, you're just an evil man, though.
Funny.
Yeah, you're just no. Shut up. Right. Well, actually, I was going to come to you anyway, Arn. Any substitutions you think England could do? Anything you think changes will happen?
I think Grealish has got to come on at some point. He's got that creative spark about him where he can just make things happen. Also, he falls over a lot, so that would result in some free kicks in kind of dangerous areas for England. And as was seen from the corner that John Stones nutted against the upright, that does seem to be an area where they could cause a problem. I mean, Scotland's got a lot of height at the back, but they don't seem quite as well organised as they should be on set pieces. Maybe they felt they're not going to face a lot of set pieces in this tournament because we've not really seen a lot.
For all that was glowing about Steve Clarke and how his teams kind of line up before the game, that was kind of a problem at Kilmarnock as well, and that we didn't know how to defend set pieces particularly too well. And I think it's the same at Scotland. It's easy to be just stick a man on a man, but then it's still set pieces are just a big gamble. You could set out set piece tactics until the cows come home. Something's always invariably going to go wrong in a set piece, or something's not going to go the way that you expect it, to the point where you're suddenly left like John Stones getting a free header in the box.
I watched the replay of that a couple of times. I'm still not sure who's supposed to be marking him.
I think potentially O'Donnell, because he's the only one I remember seeing there. That's just strange.
Yeah. So if we have a wee look, let's just see. So we're now getting ready for the second half. Yeah, apparently. So I didn't realise that McGinn was booked for dissent at that point. Apparently, the new Celtic manager is in attendance at the game.
Big Ange Postecoglou.
Yep, Big Ange, part of the Manchester City kind of network of clubs.
I'm excited to see Celtic rebrand into the Glasgow. Can't really be Glasgow City because that's the women's team, but just like Glasgow Celtic City, start playing in blue because that will not upset anyone at all.
In the lightest of blue, they may start a rivalry. Aye.
Just go for that famous Glasgow derby, as everybody calls it now, because the Old Firm's cliche. I'm fairly certain someone out there will hear these words and will try and petrol bomb me or something.
Well, you won't. No, nothing will. Not you. At least you won't be like Gaza that time he played the flute. Do
you think he regretted that?
Yeah.
No.
I remember in the. I think in the.
I think he did. I think he did when he was getting death threats.
I feel like you kind of, if you're playing at Rangers and Celtic, you kind of expect something like that to come. Obviously, you don't want death threats to come. Neil Lennon, I think, got bullets posted to him through the post at one point, which makes me question where people in Glasgow got bullets from. You'd have thought it'd been a knife if something else. But, yeah.
The problem is, the thing was, he kind of knew this. You're in Glasgow. You've been not indoctrinated, because indoctrinated sounds like you've joined a cult, which technically, depending on how you look at it, Ranger fans, Celtic fans can be cults. You've been indoctrinated into the Old Firm rivalry. You're told everything about it.
Yeah, I think you mispronounced that, but
one of them, whatever. Listen, I'm tired. Leave me alone.
No, you were right. We were just making the same bad joke.
Oh, you awful people! I hate you. He knows what's happening. He knows what he's done. He has learned about it. I remember in the documentary, I think he said he was regretful about it. But
I don't think he knew what he was doing.
But that's not right. You've been at Rangers now for.
Gaza hasn't got a clue what's going on.
No, I'm sorry.
Did you hear the story about Gary Lineker told this? He said that Gaza saw him taking a hot bath before a game to get his leg muscles loose. So he was like, "Oh, I'll have a go at that." And so he jumps in this bath, and he just sits in it up to his neck, and he's in there for 10 minutes, and he gets out, and he can't play. This is for Tottenham. So he always got this sitting up to his waist, so his legs loosen up. He said his head felt funny. He was bright red. And I think he got subbed off at half time.
What, did you get heat stroke or something?
Basically, yeah.
No subs for either team as we're back out. Gareth Southgate looks like the man you see at the park.
I mean, what kind of man are we talking about here? The man that should be in the register, or just a man that's a little bit dodgy?
Out walking his dog or something.
Man out walking his dog, and he suddenly sees a football game and just starts pointing and pretending he knows what to do in the football game.
Pulls out his Paul Ince notepad with the word "shoot."
It's good advice, though. It's very, very strong advice.
I'm reading Gascoigne's Wikipedia, and the hilarity of this line, which was in 1997, young Italian player Gennaro Gattuso joined Rangers. He was welcomed to Ibrox by Gascoigne, who defecated in Gattuso's sock as a prank.
Maybe that's why Gattuso is. Maybe that's why Gattuso is the way that he is. He was full of hope. He comes to Glasgow, gets shite in his sock, and he's like, "Fuck it, we're just going for it."
This, I'm going to be a racist, sexist, homophobe.
Yeah, might as well.
Oh. 60th minute, Grealish, you think's coming on?
57 minutes gone. The real match of the night, by the way.
He's stretching already. I don't know if he's just doing that to go Gareth, I am prepared.
Oh.
I think they might. I think it depends how the game goes, but I think they might try and save Grealish for the Czech Republic game, since that suddenly turned into whoever wins potentially tops the group. I think the Czechs go through if this ends in any other result as an England win. In fact, no, I think the Czechs are through anyway because they've got
they're probably not statistically true, but they're
I forgot that they drew. I forgot that Perisic scored a worldie.
Yeah,
but 4 points will get you through no matter what.
Yeah, because that was the thing. That's what really confused me with the Wales game, because the Wales game finished and they were already talking as if Wales was through, and I was like, but what? How? But yeah, it seems like 4 points seems to be the kind of benchmark you should be aiming for.
There are teams
3 with a positive goal difference will probably get you through. So.
I was going to say 3 points you could get through with 3 points, but it depends on what the other teams do.
All depends on how tight the group is, I guess.
The thing is, say Turkey win their last game, they'll be on 3 points, but they're not getting through because their goal difference is going to be shocking. But that would mean then that's 1 third place not getting through, so you only have to beat out one other third
Yeah.
place team. I know that's just a what if scenario, but like it's a very plausible scenario.
It somewhat confuses me. I'd much rather if they just did it where the top 2 go through and then you're just in a knockout. And the Phil Foden bot software must be out of date there.
Oh,
Here
man,
we go.
trying one from a range.
Well, he's seen David Marshall before.
I still
It's
think
not a bad
Marshall.
effort. He's not going to score there, is he?
I think out of the 3 keepers that we called up and calling up Craig Gordon's a point of contention for me, I think Marshall's the best that we've got. Mostly because Craig Gordon's 38 years old, so that feels very much like he get called up as a thank you for your previous service. I would have taken Xander Clark instead because he's just done the double with St Johnstone. He's a proven goal threat, as bizarre as that sounds. No, honestly, that's how St Johnstone beat Rangers in the cup. Like Xander Clark steamed up for a corner, was heading it in, and then it get tapped in by Chris Kane. So he's created more chances than some of the folk in that Scotland squad all season in one cup game. But it's just like I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, despite the fact I've probably slandered half of England at this point. It feels very much like there's a thing against St Johnstone players from the SFA when it comes to being called up. Like Sean Rooney had 6 months, probably the best 6 months of his career from January, but didn't get called up, whereas we're calling up some, like Greg Taylor didn't particularly have a great season. We've called up 3 left backs, but 2 right backs. So if you were going to call up any players in either side of defence, I would have stuck with Robertson and Tierney and called up 3 right backs, despite the fact that Tierney's made of glass, because Robertson's pretty sturdy by all accounts.
He's obviously he obviously had Tierney as his left back though.
But
like,
well,
so Tierney as his left centre back even.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never a fan of 3 at the back anyway. I'm traditional minded. We play 4-4-2 as Scotland, and we do what comes best. But to be fair, playing the 3 at the back's not exactly done as wrong so far. So what do I know?
But I think the big thing is your 2 best players are Robertson and Tierney. He has to find a way to get them both in the team.
Yeah, that's the annoying thing is, like, we've got 2 great left backs. We've got Aaron Hickey in the wings as well, who seems to have kind of fallen off a little bit out in Italy. But other than left backs, the only position we can really consistently produce talent for is central midfield, which is why there was such an argument about Ryan Gauld should be at the Euros. But the problem is that we've got about 12 centre mids that you could call up, and I guess Flex does more than what Clark wants than what Ryan Gauld does.
Did Gauld play in any of the qualifiers?
No, Gauld hasn't been capped for Scotland
for a
before.
while.
See, I think that's a big thing, and I fully get it. I know us as fans always want A, the best player, and also B, we also want the young player, especially as football manager players. That's always the way we would lean. But I do think there is a thing about you do kind of need to reward the guys that got you there.
Yeah, but I think though, like, you've got to it's a fine balancing act. Like, do you call up a John Fleck who's been there for the qualifying campaigns but has had an atrocious club season, or do you go for the likes of Ryan Gauld who had a great form at club season, despite I think his club in Portugal get promoted, but he's still linked with going to Braga. But so I think going past the Euros, we'll begin to see a bit more of the players that people are clamouring for, the likes of Ryan Gauld or maybe even a Sean Rooney. That is very much, this squad seems like a thanks for getting us here. Like, Craig Gordon's never going to get the chance to go to a national tournament if he doesn't go to this one. Same for David Marshall. John McLaughlin gets called up because
we need a third one and we just can't think of one.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I think Marshall's obviously your first choice as well, though.
Yeah.
I think with the John McLaughlin thing, it's a case of we need a third keeper who's going to be worked hard, and if we need them, they can show they've done it.
That's when my argument for Xander Clark comes in, though, because McLaughlin's not particularly played all season, mostly because Alan McGregor has, for the first time in about a decade, had a season where he's played out of his skin.
You would expect the third keeper would be someone who has played, obviously, the entire, or at least played quite consistently.
I'd maybe even made a phone call to Alan McGregor and been like, you know what, pal, obviously there's like historic beef between Alan McGregor and the SFA there, but I'd had sold it to him and been like, you're not going to get a chance to play at a national tour, like a major tournament again with your age, but probably worded it nicer than that. And I'd have taken Alan McGregor to the Euros because he was. You look at some of the saves he pulled off at Rangers during the year, like he's.
He had a phenomenal time. He's had a phenomenal renaissance at Rangers since he's came back.
He's like Buffon, except probably not fascist.
Probably.
Is that how we're explaining who players are now? He's like Buffon, but not fascist.
Like he does play for
Probably.
Rangers.
Well, yeah.
Not as fascist.
Sorry, my apologies. As probably. Derek Agnew putting him probably. I think the squad has, as I say, like it's going to be exciting to see the likes of, Turnbull and Gilmore and McGinn and that as a three in a midfield excites me quite a lot actually. The squad is, I say, I think Brian is right. It is kind of a whole. Thanks for getting us here.
It's kind of though. It's what I expected from the squad. Bear with me, I'll still grab some more booze.
It's just going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting transition period now that we have finally at least made it to a competition. Yes, Lucas. Hello, welcome.
Is that tonic wine? Are you drinking that straight out the bottle?
Yes, and yes.
Fantastic work, sir.
Welcome to the stream, Lucas. Sorry about the first word that you've heard.
So looking
at good Scottish teams. I've been playing. I managed to pick up a copy of Euro 2008 for 50 cent.
Okay.
Last week, and with my roommates, we've been playing the Captain Your Country mode as Ireland. Okay. So we're going through the 2008 qualifying, which is obviously that Scottish team that beat France and Italy, I believe.
James McFadden in Paris.
Yeah, and didn't qualify because obviously that was back when the Euros were really hard to qualify.
We get done
and you had a really tough group.
We get done out a result against the Italians because Christian Panucci conned the ref, and I'll die on that hill.
Yeah, that was here we go, England.
But just in the point that Eddie was making, I've had a look at who after the Euros, Scotland's first games are Denmark, Moldova, and Austria. So yeah, I think you could begin to see kind of players rotating in and out. Maybe bringing in the likes of Ryan Gauld for those games and not taking maybe the likes of John Fleck. I feel bad for Fleck. I keep using him as like the example of who I wouldn't take, but it's because Sheffield United were miserable this year.
As I say, if we're honest, did he have a good? As I say, that's the thing. You've got to take the best people you think that are available for the job, and the problem is, his career. At Sheffield Wednesday this season, they were, let's be reasonable, they were awful. It's the same way where McBurney nowhere near, should be nowhere near the squad. But he still is because for some reason he's rated by Steve Clark.
I don't know what anyone sees in Ollie McBurney or Ollie Burke. They have both been terrible every time I've seen them. And Ollie Burke had that season at Celtic. I'm expecting Ollie McBurney to sign for Rangers at some point in his career. And hopefully, as of next season, we will, not next season, but the season after it, come on, I'll go back up there, so I have to deal with Rangers more. So yeah, Ollie McBurney is just no to Ollie McBurney.
McBurney is...
Jesus Christ!
that was the chance.
McBurney is nailed on to score 30 goals in a season in some league. I don't know what league yet, but he's nailed on.
I don't think he scored 30, but he was at Swansea in the Championship and seemed to bag them in there.
Yeah, I think it was 17 or 18. Yeah, I remember it.
But
you
I feel
broke my headphones there.
Oh.
I think he's nailed on to go to Rangers and score 30 there.
So, I just feel like McBurney, he's obviously got a prison, so he'll be prison 11. But I just don't see it with McBurney. I just feel like he's one of those players that, just manages to make a career out of having maybe a really good agent who can get him the moves. It's the same way Ollie Burke, in a sense. Ollie Burke's been to, Leipzig, and he's been to like West Brom and Sheffield United, and he's just never really produced anything. Like he was at Celtic.
I bet
How
they.
is this a free kick? How on earth is this a free kick?
I bet they do all the stat stuff really well. As in, like they can run X amount of kilometers in X amount of seconds and all that. Like I bet they test really well and all that stuff.
And that's why stats are bad. I just feel like
I don't think I'm as down on McBurney as you. Now I think he's limited, but I think there's a lot of limited players in the Premier League.
My biggest problem with McBurney is that for a while he was getting called up for the Scotland squad over players like Shankland and Nisbet who deserved to be called up. And it just feels like McBurney.
It's the classic Football Manager interview where you get, are you picking players in reputation instead of ability or current form?
That's just exactly it. Like it feels like we're picking players in reputation rather than we're picking them on any form of like actual what they can produce. I'm not saying McBurney probably has a player in him somewhere, like we did that season at Swansea. He obviously produces something. But when you
I feel like he scares defenders. Like he turns up, stares at a defender, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to get close mark into this."
Did you see his Instagram questions during the week?
I mean, does he scare them enough that he doesn't score? He's only scored 1 goal this entire season. 23 appearances, 1 goal.
It's not a great record as a striker, no.
I don't know if Ollie does here, but Preston legend Brian McManus has just come on for Shells.
Oh.
When I say Preston legend, he spent about 6 months at Preston, and is 19 still.
Scotland again. It's. I mean, this game has been interesting and exciting so far, I'd say.
We have been, and I'm clutching on to any kind of wood that I've got in my room, but we have been in this game far more than I thought we would, and I don't know particularly how to feel about this.
It's how I thought it was going to be be honest.
Obviously, with us being a little bit behind, we're now probably past the mark where there's half an hour left in the game, and it's beginning to get to that point where there's a little bit of we might actually do this.
And I think that is the big danger for Scotland.
It's the hope that kills you.
But believe you say it's. I used to always say that too. It's the hope that kills you. I've realized no hope kills you even worse as a Shells fan.
Well, it's just equal measure, isn't it? It's
no hope at all is by far the worst.
Oh yeah, you got to have a bit of hope in. Oh, Grealish is coming on.
Get stuck in him again. I just feel like it's gonna. We just need like a lucky bounce or something, and that's what's going to do it. And I still think we're going to go down to like the 90th minute.
What was that?
That was an attempt.
Was that an attempted overhead kick from Tyrone Mings there? Because it was not successful.
John McGinn.
That wasn't John McGinn. That was Stephen O'Donnell, I'm sure. There was a big
coup. Oh no! Here we go. Just yes! What a tackle! Get up, Foden, you duff.
It's actually fascinating that the second I turn on Arn's stream, everything cuts out on StreamYard. I have no idea why.
Really?
That's not running hot. My internet is fine. 130 megs download.
There must be some kind of internet science in there. I don't know what it is.
I've checked like my usage. I've checked everything. Nothing. I can watch any other stream, just not.
Yeah.
The official UTV stream that I'm definitely paying for via my TV license in a different country.
Oh, corner. There we go.
Shells just had a ball cleared off the line, by the way. This game is starting to...
Is that game still happening? Yes.
We've just given up with that game.
I'm sure something is happening in it, but 61 minutes in, Grealish is coming up for them. It is the hope that just keeps you suffering. Because the thing is, we would take, if we lose this 1-0, or we lost this in that result, you would accept it because you'd think we've still played.
I don't think annoyed. I would. See up to this, but I don't see if we were to lose this 1-0. If we were to lose it by more than a goal, if they were to score,
I caught it in.
If England were to score like 2, I think I'd accept it. But if we were to lose 1-0, I feel like it'd be really unlucky for us.
I just think we've played. I think the thing is, England
We-
have had opportunities and should, with the strike force they've got and the players they've got, they should be burying those. We've come here with no
expectations.
You get all these England fans who think, oh, it'll be a 4-1 game and stuff like that. And you
I
just
saw a
think,
lot of people, a lot of England fans on the Twitter saying, 4-1, 4-0. And I'm like, no, it's going to be a lot closer than that.
Bye Gaza, young one.
See,
He's only a boy.
See with that London Dyke shot, see when you watch it for like the back angle, I don't think that was going in, even if
No, I don't think so.
No.
But at the time, on the first viewing, I thought it was. And to be honest, Reece James came out of nowhere to clear it.
Yeah,
I do enjoy I did enjoy that shot of Grealish coming on and then just a bunch of England fans just cheering.
League of Ireland update: Georgie Kelly has scored 4 for Bowes. I think for the second time this season after Bowes Johnny wrote him off as a striker. He said he was never going to be good enough, and I think since then he's now scored like 8 goals in 3 games.
I think what I'd like to see from Scotland now is beginning to make a sub or two. I don't think we've made any just yet.
I don't really understand why the Irish season is still playing.
We're a summer football.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So they moved it to summer, and they moved it to summer actually originally to help teams qualify for Europe. So back in the day, I know it's still kind of that time, but it used to be even earlier in the season, the qualifying.
Mm-hmm.
And generally we'd be mid-season while all the other teams wouldn't, and it would get us a couple of results against, like, Shells beat Hajduk Split, the Croatian champions, over 2 legs, because they would only just come into pre-season, and we were in full flight. But then also it's to have Friday night football so it doesn't clash with the Premier League, because every Irish football fan supports the Premier League team.
Yes.
Which makes it very hard to build the scene here. And I'm not bitter, except I'm very bitter.
I see Twitter England has got really angry with Southgate for taking off Foden specifically for Grealish.
I do think Foden's played much better than Mount.
Grealish, though, so they want Grealish on there, but not that way.
Yeah,
I think Foden's been much better than Mount, though, in this game.
They wanted Brexit, but no, not like that.
I do think Foden and Grealish could coexist, and Mount has done nothing in this game. And Sterling, to be honest, but Sterling at least has pace to.
Yeah, Sterling's get behind the defence.
I do think he's not stealing a living, because obviously he's a great player, but he's in no form at all and hasn't been in a while. I thought that goal at the weekend might kick him on, but it really hasn't.
I think in terms for Scotland, what we should be looking to do is I'd maybe take off one of the strikers and bring on Kevin Nisbet, because when we did that against the Dutch, he came on and then I think he scored within like 2 minutes.
I think definitely.
I'm gonna admit my ignorance here. What kind of player is Nisbet? Like, as in, is he pacey or is he hold up?
I haven't really watched a lot of Kevin Nisbet, so I don't think I could accurately answer that question. But I just think it's kind of like get fresher legs up front. I think he's pretty good at getting behind the defence from what I have saw of him. I don't want to give him too much credit because he did play at Partick Thistle. So
everyone has to make a mistake once.
I went to look up what Eddie had said about him on our preview thing, and he just said "good guy."
So the thing is, Kevin Nisbet is one of those players who's started off in the lower league and built himself up with great performances. He just always seems to have a touch for goal, and to see him go from playing in League One and the Scottish Championship all the way up to playing for Hibs in the Premier League.
And I think it was Birmingham in January were after him. They just signed Cosgrove and then they were after Nisbet as well.
And I don't think to leave for 2 million and they turned it down.
Because that's a good thing though, because for years Scotland has been accepting undervalue bids for players. And I think it's good now that Scottish clubs are actually kind of putting their foot down and going, you know what, we're not going to take a £2 million bid for a player that you're going to end up flipping for massive profit. Obviously not.
If he was gone to Birmingham, he wasn't being flipped for massive profit. He
Well,
was he was probably not making it and then being released on a free in 18 months.
But the thing is, you can't necessarily, like, I know you've got like past experience, but you can't rule it out that maybe Nisbet would have been the kind of spark that Birmingham needed. I mean, they've got big
The only
Lucas
strikers we've
anyway.
got money out of is guys we've stolen from like lower league English clubs for a bag of balls, or guys out of our academy, which has produced a lot, in fairness. But anyone that we sign for like and I don't even mean significant amount of money, anything over 100k almost is always released within 18 months. It's like never worked. Christian Pedersen will be an example that where it worked.
I just in terms of like Scottish clubs selling players, it's about time, because I know, speaking from experience with Kilmarnock, we sold Matty Kennedy to Everton for, I think it was like 150k. Obviously he's not went on to be like a world beater, but still, like, at the time he was a hotly tipped young player, and it feels like we sold him for a bag of peanuts. And then just last year we like sold Liam Smith to Man City for 7 figures. I think it was just over $1 million. So it's good that even for young players, it's like the league's beginning to value the players a bit more, but we just need the league to actually value things like TV rights more. Because when you look at this, like, you're watching this game, and sure, there's a fair few players that play in England, but there's still a fair few of them that play in Scotland, and they're holding their own for the time being. I do think there's an over-reliance on your... I don't know if it's necessarily the FA. It probably is the FA, but like Scottish football as an organisation, I guess, not just the FA, on the old firm, yes,
as a selling point. I think the quality is actually higher outside the old firm than the Scottish FA give credit. The
problem's are a little bit the SFA has people in charge that don't know what they're doing, and it's also how the league kind of voting rules are split. Because we've got to have, I think it's 11-1 is the rule for the top flight, and then it's like 70% ruling, and that's what the whole like comedy was about last season.
Yeah.
Well, Dundee like changed their vote and everything. I think Scottish football needs to start being smarter about how it markets itself, because it's not a bad league; it's just badly run. We could easily get TV deals that, whilst they're not on the level of what the English TV deals are like, we could get TV deals that put more money into the club. Like Sky, I think the contract for Sky was 47 games this year, and they only showed 42, and nobody in the SFA is going to like bat an eyelid about that, because that just shows how much they actually value the league. As long as they get their money games in the television, they don't really care about the clubs that don't make money.
The financials of that Sky deal? Just curious, like, because obviously I would have a background in the Irish stuff.
It's not. I don't know the exact figures, but I know it's not what it could be. It's not.
I know great. With the Irish league, clubs generally lose money if their game is televised.
I don't think we're at that case. I think it's a case though that
is that because they have to move it, or
it's basically because it's pretty much a cost price, the TV deal, and if you're usually getting 1,000 to a game, but say it's on a rainy Friday night and it's on telly, 100, 200 people stay at home to watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
You're losing that revenue. Like, it's our league is like, it's funny, like Rogi's saying like, our league's really bad because we have these voting rules in place. No club in our system has a vote in our league.
Yeah, I think that's at least we've got that going for us. Every member club's got a vote. But then
it's $100,000 to enter a Premier Division club a year in our league. The prize money for first place is $200,000. The prize money for second place is $140,000. The prize money for third place and below is less than $100,000. So unless you finish in the top 2, you're losing money on your entrance fee.
Yeah. I think it's...
Meanwhile, our CEO, he's gone now. I don't know. The new CEO hasn't fully been appointed. It's all a mess. Our CEO used to be on $420,000 a year. Before any expenses.
I think
he was the second highest CEO in Europe after the English FA.
And Florentino Perez thinks his club's struggling for money.
By the way, that CEO also was fiddling a lot of money, and I have a whole book that I'm getting ready to read called Champagne Football. Would recommend it, on all the money he was fiddling in terms of expenses and etc.
With your book, can you buy it on the Amazons?
You probably can. It was released worldwide. Like, it was a significant thing. It's not just like some
Sorry
dude
if
wrote
I've
it.
gone a wee bit quiet here. But I'm actually just watching this game, and Scotland had a good wee passing build up there for quite a bit.
We've got like 20 minutes to go, and the
I'm just
fear
trying to
is
distract Roby
This
from
game-
his nerves.
This game does not. I mean, to be fair, the players are just the England players are kind of just walking at certain points.
I feel like
I
think-
Grealish
They're all.
Grealish
I know
has
it's
made a
wet,
difference,
but
hasn't
they
he?
all look like it's obviously still humid,
Yeah.
even
Oh,
with
yeah,
the
'cause
rain,
it's-
because you can see do you know that like slouch when it's that humid that athletes have.
Yeah. The thing that's concerning, I
Grealish
don't
has
think
definitely made a difference. I think him and Foden should be in the same team. Well, if
we're
You're
in
telling
the-
that way.
I think Scotland need to hurry up and start making changes.
Yeah,
I
that's-
think
that's-
Scotland needs to make some change in the next couple of minutes
that's
because
where I was going with it. Like, we've not made a single
Grealish
change
looks
yet.
significantly fresher than any other player on the pitch at the moment, which is
Yeah.
because he's come on. But like, it does seem very evident that is a good shout for a sub.
I think it's
Yeah.
the case that Clark might be gambling in the fact that this is his strongest team.
that's what I was going to say. Like it's all well and good.
Oh,
bringing
what is
someone on,
that?
but
What
does
is
he have
that?
the person to bring on?
The thing is, like, you look at who we've got on the bench. We've got Ryan Fraser, who can do something. Kevin Nisbet, who can do something. Stuart Armstrong, who's due redemption for the last time we played England at Wembley. So that's three that I'd be looking to bring on. But the question is, who do you take
Is
off?
there an
to bring them
argument to
in?
bring on Cooper for Tierney?
No, because I think
What is
Tierney is good.
Oh, Kane's
Tierney
been
is very
off.
good. I just
Kane's been
does he
sub.
have
that'll be Sir
Yeah.
Marcus coming on.
He's-
Yep.
deserved. I mean, he's not done anything except miss a header in the first half. Now, I don't know if Rashford's the best sub. And I rate Marcus Rashford quite high, but he's been injured for about 6 months. And
Why is he
Solskjaer
not-
wouldn't give him a rest.
He's not a centre forward though, is he? He's like an AML.
I
Like
think
he's
he could actually
attack
be well, I don't think he could be like a true Cavani centre forward, but also
I don't feel like he's
not drama in the Shells game, but Shell's captain last year is playing for Wexford, and he's a bit older. Now, he seems to be playing as the centre of a three-man centre-back line. He was always an attacking wing-back when I saw him. But Shells are getting to retake a free kick, because I think...
So, to break the kind of immersion of the stream a little bit, I've still got the game up on my telly. Scotland's made a sub, and I'm not sure if I agree with it, but I'm going to wait till you guys see it to be like,
Okay. I
talk
can't believe
about
you've
it.
broken the immersion. There's Sir Alex. There is good old Fergie.
But
Oh, man.
like, the thing is, I think
does not look happy up there.
we've played.
I mean, it's pissing down in Wembley. I don't think he's going to be extremely happy with it, to be fair.
We've played great for 75.
Oof.
We've played great for 75 minutes. I still, even if we lose this game now, I still consider it a win. It's showing that you got the worst of Scotland against the Czech Republic, where you had defenders thinking they were strikers, you had goalkeepers that were pitching a tent. You just had kind of the general Scotland shambles. But this is
I'm very
what
glad I have
Scotland
this muted
could be.
because it just said. I'm very glad I have this muted because it just said voice of Gary Neville, and I think I'm fine not listening to Gary Neville. Yeah, that Derek Agnew makes a good point. Does he ever look happy? Fergie. Right, who's the sub? Come on, let's find out. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, so he's still
I'm not.
Gilmore.
I don't know
Gilmore
how I
for
feel.
Armstrong.
Armstrong. Oh no.
So
not
I've
Stuart
just
Armstrong.
I've just said that Stuart Armstrong deserves redemption at Wembley. But I don't know if I'd taken off Gilmore for him. I'd have maybe taken off McGregor and just for the last 15 minutes just go through beans. Like whatever happens. If
This
we lose, we
applause
lose.
here.
Stuart
Sorry
Armstrong.
about that. Mark was back and getting a beer. Shells nearly scored while I was on mute.
Yeah, this so far, like Stuart. Okay.
I don't think Stuart Armstrong's a bad player. I mean, they took off Harry Kane, Stuart Armstrong's kryptonite, so hey, we've still got a chance. I'd like to upgrade my 90th minute winner scorer from John McGinn to Stuart Armstrong now. Just get that sweet ultimate
Unfortunately,
Can I
redemption.
show my ignorance for a second here as well? Do you know the 2-2, as in the last time?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What was that? Was that just a friendly?
No, it was qualification.
World Cup qualification.
Yep.
Oh, these are in the
World
same
Cup
group.
qualification.
Because
Yeah.
I felt like, obviously watching the goals and watching the highlights, you're like, if this is a friendly, all these fans are a bit too into this. I get there's a rivalry, but
Also, I think it was the first time we played England at Wembley for a
X
long
amount of
time.
years, 96 or something. Potentially.
So Lee Griffiths gets those free kicks in.
You won the last game at Wembley before it got knocked down.
I will take that to the bank.
Oh! You remember where he was born. It's like, I can't score against my home country. Blazes it over the bar.
I don't like that.
The last time Scotland played England, I believe before that game would have been, I think it was like 2000 and we played them in 2013.
Did
we?
We
won. Yeah, it was two friendlies we've played them in.
All right.
And then the last time after that was 1999 in the European Championships where they won 2-0 and then Don Hutchison scored as Arn said. I'm trying to look. Yeah, we've. Oh, Che.
What is that?
Get up.
That's a booking.
Absolutely not, and then that, mate.
Yeah, booking for that.
Nah, there's nothing in that.
What is that?
Rashford dived. It's no Rashford. Sterling dived.
He stood on his toe.
Oh, no, he stood in his little wee toe. Get up, yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a penalty because I think you can't foul someone who's rolling the ball out over the end line. Like, that's my kind of rule. I hate the old, like, I'll kick it by the keeper, clearly not getting to it, and then it's a penalty. But
I feels like England are almost too worried about giving up the result. I mean, if they get a draw, then, you know, I mean, would they be happy with it? I mean, probably after the. It would mean they would probably, you know.
This is tournament England where they're just dreadful.
But usually England do that in their first game, and their second game is quite good.
Yeah, it's the other way around.
Yeah, their third game is like enough to get them through. Usually on the right side of a draw.
Andy.
Like, they usually get the team that they wanted in the next round, and then they lose.
Yes.
The thing is, as well, like, there's a lot of talk that
there's 1 minute of added time left in the Shells game, by the way, so you can tell the fact that I'm not crying. We're still 1-0 up.
So you're talking about tournament England. The thing is, for a lot, in fact, myself included, for a lot of people, this is the first time we've seen tournament Scotland, and I'm close to being in absolute bits here, lads. Like, I would take a score draw at this point. Obviously, I want us to win, and if Scotland score at any point, I will be just like that. But
well, all I'm going to say is John McGinn's still on the pitch, and we're only 9 minutes away. 10 minutes away, or 11 minutes. What did you say? Was it 90? Like, at a time or 90 minutes?
I think, I mean, England are credible being less than some of their parts. I think their big players just never really decide to turn up.
This is their true form.
I genuinely do not think England ever
Chelsea
really have the ability to turn up for a lot of times.
England have only turned up to 2 tournaments the entire time I've been alive.
Was one of them 2018 when Big Mario Mick Mandzukic scored for Croatia and Scotland? One of the greatest moments in Scottish football history is when Mandzukic scored and put England out the 2018 World Cup. I mean, I'm also saying that because I won 24 quid thanks to that.
Nice.
If Croatia hadn't lost the final, I was winning 42. I was actually in work for that final, where I used to work, and
John.
I was on a call at the time that Mandzukic's own goal went in to start the scoring for France, and everybody in the room turned and looked at me, and I was like, I can't react to this. I'm in the middle of what I'm supposed to be doing. So I had to save it until I was finished with that call to start reacting.
Didn't we?
Sorry if my confusion is coming across on screen.
Denmark game.
What was that, Eddie?
What confusion? Weren't we in Manchester for one?
For the Denmark Croatia game, because I had bought 2 pints. Denmark saved a penalty, and one of the pints got uppercutted off the table.
I was in.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Well, sorry, a lot of the English fans were in Dublin for the England-Sweden game.
Yep, I remember that. Ooh.
But anyway, so my confusion is every team in the top half of the first Irish First Division lost tonight. So
Ooh.
Shells are now 11 points clear after 12 games.
That's amazing.
Arn, so Italia 90 and Euro 96, those are the two ones that they've showed up. Would that be
Yes. Yeah, he's got both of them there quite easily.
I can't believe that the 2018 World Cup, the greatest World Cup to ever happen.
You would think them being in the semi-final of the World Cup would put that in there, but apart from beating Jamaica 6-0 or whatever it was, it wasn't Jamaica, was it? Trinidad and Tobago.
No, in the 2018 World Cup.
Yeah,
You just beat
It
Colombia
was-
in penalties.
It was Panama you beat 6-0.
Panama. That's it. I remember it was a really small nation, and that Harry Kane was thrilled that he scored a couple of penalties against them.
And everyone was
Well
ready
done,
for you
son.
to win the world. Everyone was
Everyone's like, "Oh,
that's
it's coming home! You beat Panama. Well done." It's like that video of the Michael Owen and the kid in goal.
And Neville Seifel
Seifel, yeah.
Congratulations, Michael. He's 15. He's 13.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact you even conceded a goal to Panama is laughable.
It's a joke.
Arn, have you seen how different is this England side compared to the one that took on Croatia, you feel?
I mean, it is basically the same team, isn't it? They've changed what they were doing at fullback. They haven't really shown a lot of intent going forwards. They almost seem happy with a 0-0. I don't know if that's...
And do you think that's because of who they may face? Or do you think they are genuinely looking at the table?
I'd find that hard to believe. I think you'd probably want home advantage and a hard game in the round of 16. With the way the draw lines up, you'd have a hard game to start with, but then after that, the route to the final's easier. So I'm sure if he was looking at that and thinking a game at Wembley against Portugal or Germany and then an easier route to the final versus an easy game and then, comparatively easy game and then, I don't know, France, Italy.
Tyrone Mings getting into
I'm not even going to consider England making it anywhere near the final, though.
So if they finish second, if they finish second, who do they get?
I think
it's second from another group. I think it's group.
I'll go to you. UEFA still got the
there we go
on their website.
Substitution, Alan.
Yep, it's not the one I was expecting.
Che McAdams is off.
I would have kept Che McAdams.
He's played so well, though.
I'm so glad that Che McAdams has made it.
Let me have a wee look. So if they play,
it's second from another group, and I can't remember which group it is.
I'll have a wee check while we're doing this.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out.
Patrick Schick, the top scorer with 3 goals with a bloody nose in that game in Czech Republic versus Croatia.
That square-headed Pillock to fuck.
You're not a big fan of him, Alan?
Not at all.
So D2 would play
E2, which would be Sweden.
Could potentially be Spain.
Well, it could be Spain.
If they keep playing the way they played against Sweden, well, they just did the most.
That was the game I had.
Euros.
Yes, whatever game that is the game I had tickets to.
That meant to be in Ireland.
There's a lovely person who could be joining us, Arn.
Oh,
because that was Ireland's group if Ireland qualified.
And
the second place team in Ireland's group.
Please welcome. He's stuck in the backstage. I don't know how long for.
Oh no,
Rian.
Oh, hey, Rian.
How are we? I've been screaming into the void about how Andy Robertson is going to put it in the top corner in 2 minutes.
Yes.
Rian, you're not. You have to watch Iron's stream. You're not allowed to spoil.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, come and join us in Arn FM.
I'll be zen.
I'm gonna hold the flag aloft until the end of the game or England.
It's gonna be 0-0. I'll have nothing to scream about.
I mean, we're looking for the goal that's going to be the best goal in Scottish football history.
I unfortunately haven't watched any of the game, unfortunately, but I'm kind of.
This is like the partridge bit with the big World Cup title on the floor.
Did Tierney get booked? No, he didn't.
No, Kieran Tierney's a lovely lad who never gets booked. Never does anything.
I
wrong.
also, to be fair, my bet is already dead because I had over 2.5 goals. I don't think that's gonna happen. So they gave out a free bet, and I had over 2.5 goals, Mason Mount shot on target, Tierney to be booked, and over 10.5 corners, and 2 of the 4 have come in.
I predicted 3-2 Scotland. So
I thought it'd be 2-1 England. I thought it'd be
well.
2-1 England. I thought it was nailed on for Scotland to get an early goal.
I had this 9-0 to Scotland.
So close. They only need another 9 in the last 3 minutes.
Only need the 9
The
goals.
thing is, we take a point out of this game, and how Croatia have been playing, there's a good chance we could get a win against Croatia if we play like this. It's not unfeasible that Scotland could potentially take one of those 4th place spots. It's unlikely, but not unfeasible.
Beat Croatia, you're true.
100%. Yeah, 4 points gets the 4. That's why when Wales won, it was like, yeah, they're true no matter what happens in the last.
The thing is, Rian, just want to get Rian's quick thoughts, Alan. I love you though. Rian, how much have you watched of the game, and what's your thoughts been on it so far?
I literally got home.
Bill, you bastard.
25 minutes ago. I'm following on my phone. I changed my captain to Mason Mount after Lukaku's 2 points yesterday, so I think I might get 2 more points on making Mason Mount my captain. Hopefully, Jared Moreno. If Jared Moreno plays tomorrow, like he
we're
should.
getting a point out this game, then we're going to beat Croatia, so that puts us in 4 points. We could potentially get third. Believe, trust the process.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, do you remember when there was Euros fever in Ireland, Brian? Remember when Robbie Brady scored that goal? Seems like fucking 10 years ago.
I mean, I was meant to have tickets to this tournament as well. If Ireland qualified, it would have been Ireland games. The game today, was it today? Sweden, Slovakia. That was today, wasn't it?
That was to be played in Dublin, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the first game I had tickets to. And if Ireland qualified, it would have been Sweden, Ireland.
To be honest, judging by the way our government are handling the pandemic right now, we are very, very lucky the Euros that we didn't get to the Euros. I can imagine the Euros just adding to like the chaos in the city in Dublin. Jesus.
If Croatia and Scotland both play the way they did today, Scotland get a result. That's from Brian, American Brian. I
agree.
Watch much of Croatia, but I'm assuming from the way people are talking, they didn't really play well.
They're just old. They're very old.
Yeah, so they're in that. They're gone. They're past it.
It was a weird one with Croatia. There was flashes of brilliance, like Perisic's goal, but for a lot of the game, they were quite stagnant, I found.
Well,
it's definitely not the Croatia team from 2018.
There's still a team of 11 players who are in the top probably 50 players at the tournament nearly, like in terms of technical ability. But they don't have any. They have a left back who's 19 and he can run.
2 minutes.
And that's about it.
And
the rest of the team stands there.
I remember
Rodgers literally stands there.
I remember being in Croatia for the. I was in Croatia for the World Cup. It was mad.
No.
What's happening? What's happening? Oh! Yeah, come on, Scotland.
Absolute nonsense. That scramble.
Is there anyone in the crowd with like full Scottish face paint? Have we got that on the bingo card?
They just put someone in the crowd there that looked like young Ali McCoist. And I'm only assuming it's an illegitimate child.
What on earth happened here?
Young Ali McCoy sounds like a real Scottish national TV show that they make. But like
young Ali McCoy doesn't got the Papa Roach gigs. He goes to Sun Roach gigs.
Come on, hold on.
Scott McTominay was very close to just diving on that ball, holding it.
You might as well just put it underneath his
put it on the jumper.
Run away with it.
Yeah, apparently that's
his rugby roots.
Come on, 40 seconds. Come on, lads.
Ooh,
there's me in the crowd. Come on. Oh, don't Hibs it. Come on.
It's funny. I would say don't Shells it.
As Alan and I know, Hibs have been used to doing stuff like Hibsing it for years now.
I've watched Shels throw away 4 leagues in various divisions in the last minute of the last day of the season.
How'd the game go today, Brian?
1-0 win, and we're now 11 clear.
Oh, so you're happy? You're not angry, Brian, on the stream?
No.
Come on, blow that whistle.
I saw a tweet being like Georgie Kelly has scored more goals today than any of them.
That's it.
Yes.
Bose Johnny a few weeks ago reading was like Georgie Kelly just doesn't have it, and I think since then he scored 8 goals in 3 games.
Yeah, he's been on fire, to be fair. I remember watching him at the UCD ball for UCD like 2 years ago and being like, this guy's decent. And then he moved on to...
Let's stop taking over on a stream with 2 Scots and an English person. Well done, Scotland. You've given yourself hope.
You can see the difference between the Scottish faces in the handshakes there and the English faces. It's brilliant.
I think you can see the difference in this chat if you weren't just showing Alan at this point. You'd be showing.
Okay, yeah. Can we shoot over to Arn quickly? Can we get a hard cut to Arn?
Waving about.
Yeah, it's going great, mate. It's going great.
So, Scotland no, England no.
Full time, Scotland defeated England 0-0.
We've got a point, lads.
Oh, up yous.
Oh, flower of Scotland.
Who's getting kicked out first?
I didn't sing.
Excuse me,
I'm
not
too
me.
tired to sing.
Right, Scottish football's biggest fan.
Let's talk about it then. We'll go for another 15 minutes or so, or however long. Because there's stuff people got to do, and we've been on for 2 hours now. I'll go around the room and ask people's thoughts, and then we'll get Domi in, I guess, because Domi wanted to call in quickly. Arn, you okay, pal? Doing well?
Of course I am.
Go on, tell us. Performance. Rate it, England.
It was very good.
Dreadful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't very good at all. It was a bit lifeless, a bit limp. I don't think Scotland played particularly well, but they played a lot better than I think people were expecting them to play. But yeah, in terms of England's creativity out there wasn't any. It got a little bit better after Grealish came on, but the rest of the players were just kind of like moping around, just
I'd be very worried.
Like a pre-season friendly.
Watching that, the second they get pressed, they all panicked.
Like
Croatia stood off and it made England look very good, and that's what's starting to come clear now. England need to step up.
At points, it looked like England were not up to the races for it, and then there's parts where they did look up for it. It was a very kind of topsy-turvy performance, I think, from England. I don't think they played anywhere near as where they played at certain points well in the Croatia game. And I think a lot of their key players were nullified. Kane does not look like the same player that plays for Tottenham. So yeah, I think Scotland can take. I think we can take. I'm so happy. I think we can take very much well with that. Because to be fair, when you've got a striker,
it's definitely one for the future. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I was going to say,
man the match. Look like judging by social media in the 10 minutes I watched of him.
I think the attacking the midfield three of McGinn, Turnbull, Soon, and Gilmore will look quite dangerous. For an 150 million rated striker from some people, Harry Kane was awful, which is not a surprise.
He didn't look fit.
No, I think he has been fit for a while.
Then again, some of your team have not looked fit at all. But yeah, I'll take it. A point.
They were definitely more at it against Croatia.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they felt like that was the game that they really wanted to put down like a performance in. Like that's the one they felt they had to win. And having won it, it's like, well, probably get away with a couple of dour goalless draws and that'll do.
Yeah. Brian, your thoughts on the game?
So there's a few kind of layers to this, but like I thought England looked very worrying the second any time a press came. Like no one to break a press, no, like the amount of times they just kicked it. I don't want to say aimlessly down the line, but like watching an Irish football team down the line. Sure, you can put pressure on it, you can do all that, but like England are meant to be. If you want to win tournaments, you have to be better than that. And I think it shows massively how finished Croatia are. I know Croatia were poor again today, and but after the England game, I thought that was a really impressive England performance. They nullified everything Croatia did. They passed it around them. They killed the Croatian spirit. Is how I viewed it. But now it's just starting to feel like, Croatia are past it and old. And it was because they couldn't press England at all. It became a training exercise for England.
Yeah.
But today, all Scotland had to do was anytime they pressed in any numbers, 2, 3, England panicked. And it meant Scotland had the better of the game. I know the biggest chance fell to Stones, but that was a set piece. Now, I hope they have a video session tomorrow in the Scottish dressing room, and basically whoever was at fault for that gets brought out and, I don't know, thrown into the Irish Sea. Because they don't deserve to defend again.
If it went in, absolutely, yes. They would be
But I'm not having anyone that free in the 6-yard box. I would be kicking them off my team down the park. And that's in a European Championship. But besides that, I thought it was a very good Scottish performance. It's a shame. It's a shame they don't have a generational attacking player in the same way they have Robertson and Tierney. Arguably, if they had honestly, arguably even Kenny Miller at his peak right now.
I mean, Kenny or Lee Griffiths, I would say, would probably be the generational strikers for us.
But Kenny and Chris Boyd up top.
No,
don't say that with Rogie on the screen.
Rian, are you just wanting Alan to have some kind of bad memories?
I'm trying to get the smile off his face, but I don't think I can do it.
I don't think I can. And we are coming to you next anyway, Rian. You only got to watch about 20 minutes of the game. When you look back at it, what were your thoughts going into the game? What were you thinking was going to happen?
I was surprised because I knew Scotland would. When I saw the formation, I checked the team. I was like, okay, they're playing. They've got Gilmore in front of the back three, and then it looked like they were definitely going to be sitting back. But you think of Foden and Grealish. You think they're the perfect. If there's players that are going to when Grealish came on, there's players that are going to break down and get between the lines, and you'd fully expect at least with Kane up front and those, you're at least one goal to come out of that team. Because they've been building up this attack and all the players they have and the options they have up front. And if there was anyone who was going to break down just a stubborn Scottish wall, you'd expect it to be Foden, Sterling and Kane up front. But it just didn't. Judging by what I was looking at in the game, it just didn't seem like anything came until as you said, Grealish came on. He looked quite lively. But
even Grealish made a mistake. I think Southgate has too idealistic a view of things at times. He had to see how that was going. I don't know why he took off Foden. Of the 4 attacking players, Foden being the first off was the wrong mistake. I think maybe he just didn't like his hair anymore. I don't know. But I think you have to try and you can't just. He made all his subs are fairly for like. I know Rashford and Kane play differently, but he put them centrally up front. There was no all right, we need to change something here. Even Sancho and Calvert-Lewin and maybe even this is a big take, but Chilwell on the left with Chilwell and Shaw. Now he would get crucified for that, and just have them crossing balls in early and try and get. I know Grant Hanby in theory would love that, but a different point of attack. They looked so aimless. And all he did was make subs that filled in the same gaps he was taking off. It's a very much. It's me playing Football Manager in 2007 when I was 12. I had 4-4-2, and if I had a striker to come on and for a striker to come off, that was all I was doing.
I mean, that's how I still play Football Manager, so...
Alan, you were actually, to be fair, ironically, just quickly, Harry Kane is being interviewed by ITV, and apparently people can't hear him because he's getting booed by the Scotland fans.
I thought you were saying something else there. I thought you were going to slag Harry Kane.
No, that entire performance could be an entire slagging of Harry Kane in his England career. Alan, you're the last one. I can see how happy you are in your face, so I'm just going to let you go away. What was your thoughts on the game?
So it's as much as a win for us as we could expect. I don't realistically think for all the talk before the game that if we were going to get a chance, it was going to be stolen at the last absolute second. For us to get a draw and not to concede, which is also the main thing, is as good as a win for Scotland when you compare it to how we played against the Czech Republic on Monday. I said before the game, and I'll say this in 2 weeks' time, that's how Steve Clarke lined a Kilmarnock side up against Rangers, and that's like the best Kilmarnock ever played under Steve Clarke. It's not beautiful football. It's not your tiki-takas or your gegenpresses or whatever the new in vogue term is. It's good old-fashioned, defensive-minded football. Lyndon
I
Dykes
think you're being harsh.
I don't. It's not that we didn't create chances. It's more that because it's the same as we did at Kilmarnock, but we were the basics were drilled into the players. Don't try anything fancy. Don't try and do your skill or your pizzazz. Just if the ball's anywhere in doubt, and you saw it when like the scramble. The moment the ball fell to a Scotland player that wasn't in the chance of like kicking somebody in the head, they just booted it out. They didn't try and play it up the park. They didn't try and do anything. They just got it clear.
I do think you've had an organised press, though. I know on the ball what you're saying is right, but I think Steve Clarke should get more credit for how he sets up a team to be defensive. I think the idea of just sitting men behind the ball isn't good enough anymore at the top level, and I think he actually pressed. He knew when to press. He knew who to press.
That's what he did at Kilmarnock as well. The game that I pointed out, I think in the kind of pre-game coverage was the game against Rangers.
Rangers, yeah.
It was January 2019 because Jordan Jones had signed his pre-contract for Rangers and then played that game, and that's how we scored. We had a counter-attack set up where that we could exploit it on the break. Now, obviously, Rangers aren't England as much as their fans want them to be. It's just a case that for what Scotland needed tonight, Scotland done really well. And that's the Scotland that we can look forward to going forward from this tournament. This tournament's more of a kind of testing ground, and I hope that no matter what, Steve Clarke stays. I was giving him pelters before the game. A lot of people were for his team selection. Heaven forbid Stephen O'Donnell got it right tonight, despite the fact that I've spent a lot of time slating him. He knew what his role was in that team, and he did it great. On the terms of the English can only see that as a disappointment. There was the John Stones header, but
that's a corner. That's not creating anything.
When you've got a player like Harry Kane, who's been neutralised by a defence of Scotland and the Scotland team, how do you defend that to like the media and the press? The whole build up to the game was Scotland was just taking the piss with it. You saw the like Old Firm Facts' videos where he's just having a laugh with it. That's the tone that Scotland's had throughout. There was nothing like that from England. England were hell bent on we're going to defeat the Minnows, we're going to smash Scotland, and they didn't. And that's where the English fall down because they get the media gets so arrogant. It's nothing against the players, but it's the media gets so wrapped up in this idea that England's the best and that's it. Then they go out and do that.
I guarantee you the headlines in the papers tomorrow are like England is shit because it's one or the other. It's one extreme or the other. They're either brilliant or they're terrible.
I think I've got to just
say. Oh, sorry. I think I've just got to say the consistent press thing, and we've got to bring in one more guest, and then we've got to go home because I think people have got to relax. I know we're doing wrestling terms. Goodness. The fact that England consistently were showing on ITV4 and previously before they were showing the Euro '96 game and the Gaza goal. They were just, and it's consistently bringing that and getting that stuck in your head. And they expect, I think they did. I think with the amount of money on that pitch, England wise, they will be embarrassed with how they didn't. And England fans will be like, that's pathetic, and the media will be on them again. I think Scotland play, as I've already said. I think Scotland played great. Alan, we've got Croatia next. In the words of Dumb and Dumber, are you telling me there's a chance?
There's a chance. So, having watched the Croatia game earlier on, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, there's flashes of the 2018 quality, is what I'm going to call it, because that's the Croatia team that I know. I don't know really much between. But otherwise, the team's a lot slower, a lot older, and I don't think they've got quite what they had in 2018. If we play like we did today, rather than playing like we did on Monday, and sneak a chance, I can see us getting the win. And before the England game, I don't think I would have said that.
Yeah.
I think now that Tuesday's going to be the most crucial game. But I don't think that even if we take a point or if we lose, I don't think it's anything to be disheartened by as a Scotland fan, because it's what you're looking for that team now. there's going to be elements of that squad drop out for the World Cup qualifiers. But when you look at who we've got in our group, we've got Denmark and we've got Austria, who haven't really looked too impressive in this tournament. Obviously, Denmark's had the incident happen, but Austria, they had a good game against North Macedonia, but then they get kind of relatively shut out. I think the building blocks are in place for that squad. We've got Gilmore. We get Gold in place of somebody.
Yep.
We clone or genetically engineer a striker who can play alongside Che Adams. That's what we're missing.
McCoist.
We find someone with an English pass. We
pass.
find someone with a Scottish granny.
That's what we're missing, and that's it really.
So final question.
Very greedy,
yes, no,
you guys
does
to go on
England...
2 strikers. We'd like 1.
Final question, Alan. Do you think it's possible that Scotland will get a result out of Croatia, the Croatia game? Yes or no?
Yes, I think.
Thank you.
With how we played today, possible, absolutely possible.
Perfect. Thank you. Right, one more person to come in. He's been waiting in the waiting room for quite a while, so he's probably going to be grumpy as hell.
He's going to be grumpy anyway. His screen name is Domi Hates England. Let's welcome.
It's Philip Domi. Philip, thank you for joining us. How are you?
No, I'm perfectly fine. I saw England play like shit, like they are. It's exactly what I said would happen because, like I said before the game, I was absolutely not impressed by the Croatia performance. You play like Croatia's team is now like at average feels like 32 years old, and the English pride themselves in beating a team of players that are 2 years before they retire, and just no one came. Like there wasn't players coming up in the Croatian team in the last 2 years, apart from maybe Guardiola. And he's 18. And like England was like, yeah, we're winning the Euros. We beat 32-year-old Croatia 1-0 in a terrible game. We're winning the Euros. And it's like this, like you look at how England played that game. You look at how England played today, and there's like no creativity. They play football like it's 1985. They get the ball and they look for a long ball towards Harry Kane and hope Harry Kane does something. And it's completely outdated football. And it makes you realize maybe Gareth Southgate isn't a good manager, possibly because there's no tactics involved. You watch teams like Italy who play tremendous football in the 2 games they played. You see teams like the Netherlands, you see Belgium, they play great football. And then there's England, who's supposed to be one of the favorites, I'm getting told, for 6 months, playing.
I've never understood that.
The shit like you say.
I don't believe that.
People say, oh, the Premier League, it's the greatest league in the world. Yeah, but all the great players in the Premier League are not English. Like, yeah, Harry Kane scores loads of goals, but like it's not like English players he's getting the balls from as a striker. It's players like Son, who's playing for South Korea. It's like the English. It's so weird. Like even like Jadon Sancho, who's at Borussia Dortmund, which I see a lot more than any other of these English players in the Premier League as a German. He sometimes is invisible for weeks at Dortmund. So I don't get why England, like every tournament, they set themselves up for failure by thinking they're favorites when they're a team most of the time going to the quarterfinals best. And even at the World Cup 2018, when they went to the semifinal, they had a really easy schedule to get there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if they made the quarterfinals. I'd be surprised if they got that far in. That would be good.
They lost to Belgium in the group stage. They beat the world-class team Panama.
Tunisia at the last minute.
And at the last minute, they beat Colombia in penalties.
Sweden in Ireland.
And an impotent Sweden who couldn't score goals. You know, and I'm reading, we're favorites to win anything. You're favorites to win nothing. You scored a goal in 2 games.
Where are you actually reading? Like, I've not seen any other than the bookies, which is because of
and that's
people
because
putting money on it. Yeah, that's nothing to do with actually.
That's not to do with actual favourites.
I've not seen one article that says England are actually favourites. I've seen about 100 articles that say how are England favourites when they have all these problems.
Can I just
one article that says England.
Can I just quickly interrupt? I've heard that Turkey are the dark horses. I don't know about you.
In fairness, I don't get their capitulation at all. Conceded no goals in qualifying, qualified fairly easily, have goals. Like they're a perfect tournament team on paper, but they've capitulated. And
here, I think I did
Shit
one
happened.
tweet that summed up today's England play pretty good. They played like a team battling relegation in the Premier League. They played like your perfectly 14th place Premier League team, just trying to like keep each other. And Scotland could have scored 2 goals today, perfectly fine, if like Pickford didn't fish one out, and I think Reece James or Tyrone Mings was it who cleared the ball off the line. Scotland looked like the better team today. And
I do think Scotland looked a better team, but the best chance was still England's Stones header.
Yeah, that's Stone's header. Yeah, that's about it.
Domi,
Yeah.
since we've got you here, sorry to interrupt you going on another rant, but to be fair, we can get that when you come on an actual episode, I imagine. I just want, because obviously I do want to wrap this up because we've been on for 2.5 hours and everyone needs a break.
that's why I'm speaking fast.
Your Euros, how have you seen the Euros so far? And quickly, Germany and the Euros. Go.
I was very surprised by Italy from the first game. Italy this year has decided to not just play defensive football, but also decided to somehow play the prettiest offensive football of the tournament so far, which is scary for everyone, I believe, considering for the last 50 years, everyone thought Italy would defend and then score a goal in the 90th minute and win the tournament. Belgium looked good, even though they trailed 1-0.
Ben Benetton scored for Chile. Yes.
Yes.
Sorry,
France-
Domi. Carry on.
Sorry, Domi.
Obviously,
Carry on.
France still absolutely one of the favorites for me. Portugal looked, even though they won 3-0, looked not very good against Hungary.
Yeah,
Hungary looked for like 30, 40 minutes of that game. Hungary looked like the better team. My shout at the moment is Italy to win. Germany has the problem of not having a striker. Plain and simple, especially when like France defender was 8 players. And we couldn't find any solution to that because we don't have like a Kalajdzic, whatever even a Harry Kane who's quite tall. Our like biggest players up front are like 1.80 m and can't win a duel in the box. It's tremendous how we don't take a striker to a European tournament in case we trail a game. Portugal will be difficult. I still believe you're through when you get 4 points, so I hope for a draw and a win against Hungary, but we might as well go out with 0 points, 0 goals, and 3 goals conceded.
And do you think if you were in your heart of hearts, is it round 16 for Germany or is it out in the groups?
I still believe we're gonna get to the round of 16. I even believe I don't know exactly who we would play then. Probably like I think Czech Republic if we get like second potentially, because at the moment in that group Czech looked like the best team, quality wise. Or if we get like third, I don't know. That's with this weird system. It could be we could luck through to the quarterfinals with like a lucky draw, but might as well. Everything is open at the moment for Germany.
Cool. Well, Domi, thank you very much for that. We appreciate everyone who's came in. Thank you to Big Rogie Sideburns for replacing me for the beginning of it, as he raised the flag very happily. These lives are really fun. I think me and Arn really do enjoy them, and we'd love to do something like it again or another game. We'll need to choose one, I guess.
Tuesday.
Great work, lads. Great work.
We will go through everyone now. So if you've not done so already, you can subscribe to me and Arn's YouTube. If you've not done so already, what are you doing? Brian, do you have anything to plug other than your Twitter and maybe Shelburne?
I suppose I'll plug my Twitter, which is Brian1ZVX, and my Twitch, which is also Brian1ZVX. I will get back to it. I have a PC arriving on Thursday, so all the stuff will be happening, which will most likely, when I say all the stuff, it'll most likely be a larger database Football Manager game.
Oh, fantastic. Alan, Big Rogie, anything to plug?
So you can follow me on Twitter at Alan the Rogue. That's Alan with 1 L. And just Alba Gubraith, mate. Scotland forever.
Rian, you've got a podcast, I imagine, to plug and something else, so take it away.
Don't want to mention wrestling because
It's
everyone.
fine. Mention it. Listen, it's fine. For you can mention it.
I'm on Twitter at rain_now_numbers. I'll probably be tweeting about the golf tonight if you're into that. But we're streaming on Holloway Graphs, twitch.tv/Holloway Wrestling Streams. a bit of UFC sometimes. Domi comes in. We get Domi on the streams. We get Domi watching AEW, which is another. We get rants. We get rants. And
I bet you do.
We have had. I've had Domi in the comments of my Twitch streams when we talk about Cody Rhodes. Just eat popcorn and sit back. It's beautiful. So check that out. And then it's Hallway Graps Pod on Twitter. But thanks everyone. And thanks Eddie for coming on the charity stream last week. It was really fun. Learning about Scottish football.
Oh, it was no problem at all. Even though me and Arn had completely different realizations about what you wanted us to do in our living.
I was too drunk and just out of the care at the end, but it was beautiful. Thank you very much, and great work on the streams and the content.
Oh, thank you for that. I'm glad you got your target as well. Domi, go on then. What are you giving us? Dominator 43.
Twitter @RedPhilipDome, Twitch Dominator 43, mostly motorsport content.
What a pro!
Also, I'm probably jobless next week, so if someone wants to employ me and give me a lot of money for little work,
I thought you were about to launch the OnlyFans. I thought you was about to launch the OnlyFans there.
No, that's
Domi fans.
Domi, yes, exactly.
I don't think I would make a lot of money with that. Depending on how desperate I get after summer, I might do that. But for the rest of summer, I'm financially clear.
I'm very glad that the Arn Eddie experience viewers know that you are unemployed and currently looking for work.
Where's the PayPal link in the name, though?
Yeah, I know. Where's your Bitcoin?
I'm begging around here.
You can go to paypal.me/Monday Rogue to pay me for more salt tiles.
Needs more Scotland.
Right, everyone, come on now. Right, we will be back maybe tomorrow for a daily. We'll see how it happens. Yes.
Aiming for tomorrow about 10 o'clock for a daily.
Tomorrow 10 o'clock. We'll see what we do. Thank you very much for joining. It has been a real pleasure. Scotland have drawn with a team that probably weighed more money than them and cost more money than them. So I'm really happy. Thank you very much, and we will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.